to see what is going to happen to him.
Yeah.
Okay, the one thing you don't want?
If you're an Alabama fan, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course,
but would you rather have if you could have a Nick Singleton or an Ahmad Hardy, or keep Kane Womack the same and just get you would you rather have a quality running back with Kane Womack or Jeremy Pruitt?
why have I got to make this choice? I don't follow the logic.
I think everything's fine. I'm saying if
I'm just
Kane
saying
leaves.
the bigger problem right now.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with the Alabama team right now. I'm saying if Kane leaves or Ryan Grubb leaves. I mean, these two coordinators, I mean, it happens in college football. When your team is the best coach team in college football, the coordinators get picked off. Right? You saw it in the NFL with the Lions. The Lions looked really good. What happened to both their coordinators? They got head coaching jobs.
If Ty Simpson's a Heisman finalist, you better bet some people are going to be looking at Ryan Grubb.
There are people going to look at Womack and Grubb again to be head coaches. And if you lose one, having a Jeremy Pruitt out there would entice Alabama fans.
Dustin says Durkin or Pruitt. I'd go Pruitt. Saban, I'll say this.
Yeah, I would go Pruitt.
To support both of them. Nick Saban liked both those guys a lot, Durkin and Pruitt.
Yeah. Durkin's really, really good.
Yeah, but I'd go Pruitt over Durkin.
I do think Ryan Grubb's going to get an opportunity before Kane Womack. Just my opinion.
I would agree with you on that.
Maybe.
Womack has already been a head coach, so that's one thing you kind of know. I know it was at South, so it's not a big program. But, boy, I tell you what, look at South since he left.
That's right.
I mean, Major Applewhite, it has been a disaster down there.
That's right.
But you got to figure that Kane Womack's not going to take a job like that. I mean,
no,
he left
he will
a job
not.
like that.
He left a job like South.
And I don't think Ryan Grubb would take a job like that either, but I'm just saying the pool gets a little limited with Kane Womack now.
You're right.
What about NC State?
I think he would take that job. I think.
Who, Womack or Grubb?
Womack.
Or both?
I don't know about Grubb.
Yeah. What about any SEC job like Kentucky? Obviously, you'd take that. Money would be so good.
I think, what's going to be interesting if Clark leaves Vanderbilt, which I don't think he will, but if he does, that becomes an appealing job, I guess.
Well, I mean, in NIL, absolutely. Games on the field brought to you by our let's see. Have we done fractional
No,
financing?
not yet.
Yeah, tell us about fractional.
I interrupted
games
you.
on the field.
I interrupted you.
Hey,
That's
if
all.
you've got a small to mid-sized business in Alabama, Georgia, East Tennessee, or the Carolinas, you're looking for a CFO service designed for businesses that need expertise, call our friend Rod Smallwood at Fractional Financial. Rod and his team provide expertise in cash management, budgets and projections, accounting, payroll, and annual reports. Fractional Financial does it all, not your typical contract CFO. Fractional Financial works with clients face-to-face so they can make informed, data-driven decisions to get their business to the next level. Contact Rod and that great staff today, 704-614-2083. That's 704-614-2083, or visit them online, fractionalfinancial.net.
All right, let's just bounce around to some of these games. Let's go Georgia, Florida. You like Florida. Gunnar Stockton, though, completion rate right now, 70.5%. Can Stockton against that defense? Is it the pressure of the Gators that'll get on him? Or what's going to keep Georgia's Gunnar Stockton from having a big game?
Yeah, I think it is the pressure. But, Gunnar Stockton coming off a really good game. Obviously, they were on bye last week. They've won 7-8 against the Gators. This will be a tough loss for Kirby to absorb, but I think it's on the table. I think Florida's going to play them tight.
Well, if they lose this one, then all of a sudden
When you crave like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, company truck accident, car accident, or work-related accident? Call Alabama's largest personal injury firm. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys will fight for every dollar you deserve, and it won't cost you a dime. Trust me. What do you say, man?
Call me, Alabama.
Call 659-777-7777 or go to Shinara.com.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, NFL action. We'll get to that as the Bills shut down KC again, and Bo Nix is cooking in the NFL. Stephen Pearl's era begins tonight for real. Real game, sold out Neville Arena. Alabama starts tonight. UAB starts tonight. And the good thing about opening week of college basketball, you have great games every night, including defending national champs Florida and 13th ranked Arizona tonight on TNT. And all the games on the field. LSU Alabama week, but we start with another coach firing. It's become a Monday morning tradition, reacting to a Sunday firing. I mean, let's go back in time. Has it been, let's see, was it James Franklin first? Then it was Billy Napier.
Yeah.
Then it was Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
Now it's Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, Sam Pittman's in there.
Yeah, don't forget Sam, Big Sam. He might have been first. Was he in front? I think he was in front of Franklin, wasn't he?
Yeah, but just in back-to-back. Yeah. Sunday Scaries from On 3, October 12th, Franklin. Napier 1 week later. Kelly 1 week later. Freeze now on November 2nd. Will somebody get the axe on November 9th? There's a 4-Sunday streak going here.
Who's Wisconsin get Saturday?
They get Washington at home in a home game.
There you go.
And see, and that's another thing. Freeze and Kelly were bad looks at home. Listen, I've never, and maybe I'm wrong. Y'all correct me. And I didn't get a chance to see y'all's show yesterday. I heard it was fantastic. Have you ever heard an Auburn crowd chant fire in the coach's name? I don't remember it ever happening, ever.
No, and, we brought this up yesterday. So since we've been doing a show together, the first one, Newport Beach, 2010, January, getting ready for Alabama and Texas National Championship. So since that point, we have had Chizik, Gus, Harsin, Hugh, and this will be the 5th head coach.
Yeah. It's been a little too volatile.
Yeah,
for
I know
Auburn
we've been
fans'
together
taste.
for a long time in this industry standard, but to have 5 head coaches over that 15 years is pretty insane.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jim. I've never heard an Auburn. I've heard them boo.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
they're humans.
Yeah, every fan base boos. They've booed bad calls. They've booed players that have played, dropped the ball or made a bad pass.
Even the family.
Yeah, I mean, we're booing the coaching. No, you're booing the quarterback through the interception. Let's don't insult people by saying you're not booing the coach. You're not booing the players. I mean, Auburn fans are just like everybody else. They booed players. They've booed coaches. I've never really heard them chant fire, or fire Hugh Freeze, or whatever, however they were chanting it, whatever cadence it was. I've never heard that. And there weren't many left at the end of the game. I think primarily it was coming from the students because that's where Hugh Freeze walks out, and that's where I've seen the video. But the chants were there, and it just became I think this was going to resolve itself at the end of the year either way, Lance, but it just became untenable for John Cohen and the Power Boosters. They were tired of hearing it.
Yeah, this has become problemsome, though, where we are right now because, you had Franklin getting those same boos.
Shouldn't have been fired.
Yeah, and to me, much different. Like, if you want to fire Hugh Freeze, I got no problem with it because he wasn't winning. He just could not win games. And he talks about how close they were. Well, in today's world of college football, especially the SEC, we've talked about there's going to be a ton of one-possession games. He had 10 one-possession games in his 2+ years. You know what his record was in those 10 one-possession SEC games?
He beat Texas A&M in overtime. I'm going to say that's the one. I'm going to say it was 1-9.
1-9.
Yeah.
1-9. Yeah, 1-9. So, I got no problem with that. Franklin was in the semifinals last year. Kelly, in his 3+ years, had won double-digit games twice. Hey, Auburn, go out and get one of those guys.
Yeah.
I really would.
I was on Sirius XM before the firing happened, and Dari Noko, they do a Sunday show, so they've had to experience these Sunday scaries. And they were like, I would ask you if you think Hugh Freeze is going to get fired today, but Jim, we know he is, and it's going to be immediately after this show ends because it never happens before this show ends. He goes, by 12 Eastern, 11 Central, sometimes before the afternoon is when the firing will happen. And I said, well, it probably should, guys, because on what you're talking about is more than James Franklin. Hugh Freeze deserved to be fired more than James Franklin.
Yes.
Hugh Freeze deserved to be fired more than Brian Kelly. And you could make a case more than Billy Napier. I mean, so yeah, if those other 3 guys have gotten the axe, why wouldn't Hugh Freeze get fired?
Well, and look, and I even go, and we talked about this yesterday, it almost seems at time like Hugh wanted to get fired. Like, I don't understand it, how you're not playing for the future with Deuce Knight. If he doesn't know the terminology, some of that is on coaching. Like, dumb it down and at least put him out there and show the fans a glimpse.
How do you pull Ashton Daniels off? 59 yards passing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you
first
go
half.
Ashton Daniels, then Jackson Arnold, and then back to how bad Ashton Daniels was to try to bail you out late in a final possession or one-possession game. I swear I was just thinking to myself, maybe Hugh wants this 15.8, and he's just tired of coaching.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it didn't hurt anything. Well, the second half was weird. They got that one third quarter possession. That was it. And it was a very short possession.
and Hugh looked like when he was doing the interview, he looked like he was walking to a haunted house.
Yeah.
That one possession, the game's getting short. It's scaring me.
Well, it should, yeah.
Is it the fourth quarter?
I know. So, I mean, I think, like, Lance, if you'd had a bunch of possessions that are a bunch of 3-and-outs, which is what you can get from Kentucky, but you didn't because Cutter Boley was the best quarterback in the game. If you had a bunch of 3-and-outs, maybe you see Deuce Knight. But I think once it was that one possession, you're like, man, I can't risk anything right now. I don't know if I'll see the ball again.
But again, why wasn't Deuce starting that game? Like, you knew what you were getting from Ashton Daniels. This coaching staff watched him at Stanford, very athletic, but he can't throw the football. And you're going against, look, say what you want. Kentucky's got a pretty good defense. If it wasn't for what looked to be a horrible Cutter Boley pick, but it was tipped. But right before half, where they get the ball,
only way they score.
Yeah, inside the 35, and they end up getting the 3 there. But outside of that, they're shut out at home to awful, at that point, 0-5 SEC Kentucky.
Auburn does not score without that interception. That's what's crazy is that Kentucky was going to shut them out if not for, like Lance said, a bit of a fortuitous tip and an interception that led to a field goal. And this is not your mom and dad's Kentucky defense. Everybody's been scoring on this Kentucky defense.
Yeah,
they've given up
34 a game.
Well,
that's in conference, right? 34 a game.
34 game in conference.
Yeah.
They're 123rd in the country.
Yeah, this is not your standard Mark Stoops defense.
But it looked like it Saturday night.
Well,
and I don't know
why
where.
do you think that might be?
Well, I think I think a lot
opponent,
of things.
yeah.
But that Auburn offensive line, my gosh.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Forrester sent me this list yesterday. You know it's true, but I just want to see it in graphic form. Auburn's defense is one of 3 teams that have yet to give up more than 24 points in a game this year. Those are the 3 teams.
Yeah.
Where do you find the other 2?
Yeah, 1 and 2, and already circled, locked in the college football playoff.
Hey, by the
Ohio
way,
State, number 1, Indiana, number 2, and Auburn.
Let me tell you this. Auburn has done it against a much more challenging schedule than Ohio State and Indiana.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, this Auburn defense, 18th in scoring defense, giving up only 17.7 points per game, 4th best scoring defense in the SEC. And, DJ Durkin's obviously going to take this over. And we brought this up yesterday. I don't know how you feel about it, Dunaway, but I think if Durkin, it's hard because you've only got 3 games to kind of get a grade there. But if you start getting no's from some of the guys, like if I'm John Summerall, if I'm Auburn, I'm trying to lock him down. But if I'm Summerall, I'm holding out right now.
Yeah, boy, I'm waiting.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. With that said, if you start getting down here, do you not give Durkin a look?
Well, I think he's going to get a look anyway.
There's a Durkin line to his point. There's a Durkin line where, all right, we're not going to go below the Durkin line.
Yeah.
I don't know where the Durkin line falls in your list of candidates, but you find that line right there and you're like, okay, well, DJ Durkin is better than everybody else that's below this.
DJ Durkin, as interim coaches sometimes are, very popular inside the locker room. Justin Hokus in Auburn Live reporting there was a loud roar outside the team facility, according to his sources, when Durkin was telling them about the rest of the season. So he's got it, at least half the room on defense, and apparently the offensive guys
can't get any worse.
Hey, by the way, only a 7-point dog at Vandy this weekend.
Strange number.
And I think that would have been the same number if Hugh Freeze was still the coach, right? Would that have been any different?
It feels like it might have been bigger.
Yeah, I think it would have been bigger.
So it's a lower number because Hugh is out.
I mean, I'm not trying to. I mean, I don't think you're trying to add any comedic value to the show by saying that.
By saying what?
By saying it would have been higher.
No, I think it would have been. Yeah.
I thought this number would come 10 either way. Like, I don't think Hugh Freeze coaching or not coaching really affects it. But I mean, maybe it did the opposite way because Vanderbilt, and I tweeted this out after Clark Lee's first 2 years, he was 2-14 in the SEC, and now, into year 3 of Hugh Freeze, Auburn is a solid touchdown underdog to Vanderbilt.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Which is absolutely insane, but I thought the number would have been bigger. I thought it would be 10.
Here's the problem, Jim. You can't make a judgment in 3 games on whether DJ Durkin's the right man for this job. You know what I'm saying? I mean, one of them's Mercer, so it's really 2 games. It's at Vanderbilt and the Iron Bowl, and I don't care even if he wins both those. That hasn't told me he's the right person for the job. You can't do that in 3 games. What can you see in 3 games that tells you a guy's the right person for the job, especially when he's got a track record that he's got at Maryland? And I'm not even talking about the off the field. That's a separate discussion. I'm talking about just, what was he, 12-15, I think, at Maryland in his time there when he got fired?
Maryland, his entire tenure, he was 10-15.
10-15. I mean,
but I mean, it is Maryland.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not going to live or die on what he did at Maryland. I'm just saying he can't prove to me in 3 games he should be the head coach. That's going to be one of those things where you're going to have to get turned down a few times. And, again, you're going to have to determine where the Durkin line is.
But I will guarantee this. If he is 3-0 in those games, he'll get the job.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think you're probably right. Yeah. I'm not going
to say I would have a problem with it.
They may have made a deal before the Alabama game with somebody.
Maybe.
If one of their top candidates.
Maybe. But, if they go out and they beat Vanderbilt, which I think is on the table, I can't believe I'm saying this. Because I don't know how you guys felt. By the time I got off Skycast and I finally found the regular broadcast of Texas and Vanderbilt,
I ended up on the same thing. I'm like, why can I not find
You know what happened? So we're so used to YouTube, and we're going back to the ESPN, ABC dispute with YouTube TV. We're so used to YouTube. When you put it up there, it shows you the games.
That's right. I picked Skycast.
And so when I put it up, the only thing available was Skycast. You had to go to the guide, which I wasn't familiar with the guide. And once I did, then I was able to go to ABC.
I couldn't figure out how it ended up there.
But I thought Vanderbilt played awful, like their worst football. And Sarkisian did exactly what he needs to do with Arch. I had people text me, this is the Arch we were expecting. He was playing point guard. There were no difficult throws, but that's what you need to do with him.
Yeah.
But I thought Vanderbilt played bad. Texas played well.
Yeah, Auburn at Vandy in the game there. We'll talk about the candidates in a second. Before LT tells us about Dr. B, I will point out, because nobody ever says the incident. They only say DJ Durkin in baggage. He was the head coach at Maryland 2016 till October of 2018. In the summer before 2018, offensive lineman Jordan McNair died of a heat stroke while going through the off-season program. It was found during an investigation that there was a toxic culture fostered by the coaches, not naming specifically DJ Durkin, but he was named specifically as the head coach in charge of the coaches. But as I always like to point out, Durkin back then, like all coaches, were not around during off-season workout programs. They were prohibited from being on site or in the room or all of that. And you don't know if training staff or whomever were forcing players to do more than they were asked to do. But there was a settlement, a $3.5 million civil lawsuit settlement between Maryland and the McNair family. But that is the baggage that no one ever gets into detail on, that DJ Durkin has worn now for a decade, basically. And he's been a defensive coordinator 4 times in the SEC, Auburn now, A&M, Ole Miss, and Florida. But now he's getting a chance to lead a program again for the first time since October of 2018. On the other candidates, good ones and bad ones and everything in between, the list can be as 15 deep as some people say. After you tell us about Dr. B.
Dr. B, best in the business for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He uses his experience, advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. Hair has more than doubled in thickness. T3's got a test. It's easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform. Stop wasting money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. B and find out what will work for you. Men and women ordering products online, don't even know if they work. Make the phone call that I made. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net.
Our guy Alexander Shinara is Birmingham born and bred. He has been headquartered in Birmingham for more than 24 years, and his firm has grown to more than 150 lawyers now, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members that they've recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shannara.com. Shannara.com.
Alabama native, married to an Auburn girl, led Troy to a Sun Belt championship, has coached in the SEC, now leading a group of 5 team. Yes, he's coming off a loss to UTSA, but you don't judge him by that. John Summerall, 43 years old. John Summerall, is he number one on the list if you're doing this search?
He's number one for me. I think he's number one for Brown, according to our conversation yesterday. I think it is realistic you could get him. It was funny. I was at brunch/lunch when the news broke, and I had somebody, I heard him over my shoulder. Man, I think they probably should get that Tulane guy. And it was Auburn fans talking.
That Tulane guy.
People still don't really know who John Summerall is, but you just look at a guy that played in the SEC, coached in the SEC, had one of the best revivals in Group 5 with Troy, the same thing with Tulane. The guy knows how to coach. And I think more importantly, with the dysfunction that goes down on the plains and all of the people that like to meddle, I think Summerall is one of those guys that'll tell you to go F yourself. And I think that's what Auburn needs at this point. I don't think they need a guy that's going to, slap backs and, go along with the grain and what's been going on. You need somebody that is going to, do it his own way, and I think Summerall's that guy.
If you want to see him Friday night, didn't Luganville say he's doing that game Friday night? No, he's doing South Florida is what he said. Yeah, he does the Thursday night game. They play UTSA Thursday night. Memphis takes on Tulane in Memphis Friday night. That'll show you a lot. Now, if they win that game, Tulane, they are still very much alive in the American for that spot in the college football playoff, which will complicate this potentially. Same story with Lane Kiffin for any job he perhaps would want to take. Being in the playoffs is going to complicate this thing. Now, I would say, do you want a coach that can't make the playoffs? Or you want a coach that can make the playoffs? I'll wait for a coach that made the playoffs personally. But there could be some uncomfortable times waiting as the clock continues to tick through December if you want to go higher, whether it would be John Summerall or Ryan Silverfield or Alex Golish. If you want to hire one of these guys from the American that could be in the playoffs, you might not have your coach until Christmas. So that could be complicated.
And I do think Summerall is going to get probably other, at least, flirtations. And if I'm Summerall, I'll sit back and wait because there is a chance that you could have either, I guess Florida would be in the mix. I haven't heard his name. He's definitely in the mix for LSU. If Lane Kiffin was to take one of these jobs, he could have Ole Miss. And then something to look out for. If Stoops is gone at the end of the year, and Auburn fans can call me crazy, I really believe Summerall, if offered Kentucky and Auburn, would take Kentucky.
I just don't see it.
I really believe he would.
I think he knows the challenges you face at Kentucky.
If he had a choice between Auburn and Kentucky, you think he would take Kentucky?
I think he would.
Yeah, you've lost me there. I don't think he would either. I think he just
I'm
knows
not
how
even sure
challenging.
he would take Ole Miss over Auburn.
100% would take Ole Miss.
He would definitely. I think he would take Kentucky based on this. You look at the patience Kentucky has with all their coaches. Auburn doesn't have any patience, and it is his school, and you can make the same amount of money.
I agree with all that, but ultimately these guys are also driven by winning, and I think he looks there and knows that it's just a place you're not going to win. You're just not.
I just don't know if he thinks that now. Again, I think Kurt Cignetti has changed the mentality of a lot of coaches. I really do.
But and then there's a lot that goes into that, and I just, the discussion you always have to have is NIL. And what are they shaving off for Mark Stoops that is not going to basketball? And the same is true at Indiana. I don't know the answer to those questions. That's what the coaches find out.
At one end, and this guy, he's getting mentioned a lot from Auburn people, not a ton, but and there's a lot of candidates in between the two I've given you. John Summerall, who's at the top of a lot of people's lists, and a guy who a lot of people aren't naming, but you've got the shirt on, Charles Kelly at Jacksonville State. A lot of people are pointing out that he left. That he left like Gus did, so that he wouldn't be tied to the ending here, and that he could come back.
Listen, I appreciate what Coach Kelly has done at Jacksonville State. It's better than I thought it would be, to be honest with you.
Why would you not have? Why would you not just keep DJ Durkin and just elevate him to the head coach?
I'm just saying, there's names that are on a list.
I cannot imagine the Auburn fan reaction if you hire Charles Kelly.
Well, you can get him though.
Oh, God, yes, he'd crawl to Auburn. He'd leave right now and go, but. Coach for the rest of the season, if you ask him. I don't know that. Guy, you can't say this without insulting a guy, and I certainly don't mean it as an insult. Coach Charles Kelly's done a nice job at Jacksonville State. I cannot imagine how many pitches you have to swing on before you get there in your coaching service.
Is Mike Shula above Charles Kelly? He is available.
He's available.
Other names at the bottom of the list, we'll work our way up. But everyone's going to try to find their coach Signetti, right?
Yep.
Charles Huff, who took his team with him from Marshall to Southern Miss. 42-year-old Charles Huff with Nick Saban ties.
I don't know. Here's what I would say. There is no givens, right? Like Nick Saban was a given. I really believe Brian Kelly to LSU was. So I don't know if we've got it anymore in college football. So all these are unknowns. I mean, Huff is a guy that can recruit. He's done a really good job. I mean, in year one at Southern Miss, that's a guy that got in a salary debate with Marshall. One of the reasons he left to go to Hattiesburg, I don't know.
A lot of people say if you want the next Sig, you go where Sig was.
James Madison?
James Madison. Bob Chesney is the guy's name there. He's done a nice job. He's apparently an innovative guy.
One loss, James Madison.
No, they're really good. I mean, they're in the, potentially in the hunt for the playoffs as well, I guess.
And by the way, I had to rebuild.
Yeah.
Because
Sig
Sig
took
took all the players with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took toilet paper with him to Indiana.
I'll tell you what I would try to do if I'm Auburn.
What is that? Kenny Dillingham, OC 2019.
No.
35-year-old Kenny Dillingham.
Although I'll credit the heck out of them. That win Saturday night after they found out they've lost their quarterback for the year was an impressive win.
Yeah, I mean, Sims was running all over the field.
I
finally saw him complete a pass.
I know.
He's been in football
well
for 7 years. He did. I would not want Dillingham at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but that was a good win Saturday.
Dillingham's at Arizona State. That's his alma mater. Other alma mater guys, Jeff Brom, Brent Key, Clark Lee. All of them coaching, just like Dillingham, who's coaching his school. All of those guys really well thought of right now. All of them coaching their school.
If I'm Jeff Brom right now, I step back and look at this, and I'm like, dang, I'm barely been in the ACC. What's he been in there, too? Is this year 2 for him?
3 years.
Year 3? And he's got a decent path to the playoffs right now.
Well, the ACC's awful.
The ACC is awful, and that's the point. Like, I can go to the play if he goes to the playoffs at Louisville. I mean, again, you don't know what drives these guys. Do they want to come coach in the best conference in America in the meat grinder, or do they look and say, man, I can win a lot of games right here and make the playoffs?
Do they believe sooner than later we're going to have 2 Super Leagues, and maybe Louisville gravitates to one of those, but you know where you are with Auburn. You got an anchor there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because of the ties with the alma maters, I don't know if they would leave. But the name I would throw out, and they lost a tight one on Saturday, and people are already talking about getting rid of him in year 2. Take a look at Jonathan Smith in Michigan State.
You like that guy, but boy, that's going to be a hard sell based on what he's just done.
Might be, but sometimes fits are fits, and maybe he wouldn't fit at Auburn. I don't know.
Yeah. What about Drink, who was there with Gus and Chiz?
I mean,
he wouldn't take the job.
He wouldn't leave Missouri for Auburn?
Luke seemed to think that you have better recruiting opportunities at Auburn than you have at Missouri. It's a hard sell at Missouri.
Maybe, but I think Drink also realizes like the expectations. It's 2 different expectations, and I think Missouri's going to be a little more patient with him. You know, he's building his own thing. They've got the renovations going. I don't think he would leave. Maybe he would. Do you think he would leave?
Again, and I hate to keep saying this, but you have to consider this, is I don't know what the NIL is like there versus what he could have at Auburn. It is a more difficult recruiting area. You just don't have the players around you to recruit the way you do at a place like Auburn when you're
basically you got to take the Southern guy and convince him to go to the Midwest.
That's right. Whereas at Auburn, you're touching Georgia, you're in Alabama, you're a stone's throw from Florida. I mean, you're in the hottest recruiting hotbed that there is. Versus having to recruit in Missouri. I mean, I do think that is a challenge you have to consider.
And by the way, if you can get him, get him.
Yeah.
Like he is proven. Say what you want. He's not the most likable guy. He does it his way, but Drink can coach.
He's likable for your team, though.
Well, no doubt.
He talks crap.
Don't you feel like you're getting the Gus Malzahn?
No.
Actually, a more accomplished Gus Malzahn.
I mean, Gus has 0 personality. Drink's got personality.
No. I'm not talking about the personality. I'm just talking about kind of the approach.
Yeah.
He's kind of the mad scientist type.
I would stay away from visor guys if I was
a visor?
Auburn, but
Kirby Smart's a visor guy.
Yeah, he's the only one that works.
Steve Spurrier was a visor guy.
Yeah, Kiffin's a visor guy.
Mm-hmm. You need to apologize for besmirching visors.
Yeah. Okay, Kiffin hadn't gotten there yet. The only one that is working currently that is a visor guy is Kirby Smart.
Yeah, almost lost Florida.
Yeah, Kirby, Kiffin, Spurrier.
You may be out.
Gus Spurrier's a long time ago.
Gus was a visor guy.
Long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Bay?
No, Big Faye doesn't wear hats at all.
He ain't going to cover up that hair.
That's what visor guys do. Okay, one more thing in the opening segment here after I tell you about Storm Restoration Roofing. That's Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Listen, winter's coming, man. Winter is so hard on your roof, man. It is absolutely hard on your roof. So now is a great time after this summer before winter comes, and that heat hard on your roof too. Get it inspected right now before winter comes and the freezing and the shrinkage and all that goes on up there. Greg will get on the roof and give yourself the peace of mind of knowing that everything's okay up there. Free, no-cost roof inspection with Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg Nelson's cell phone, 205-542-3531. You can look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City, or on his website, stormrestorationroofing.com. Great financing is available, works with insurance providers to give you the best possible insurance coverage. He can work with those guys and make sure you're covered. Roofing replacement, storm damage repairs, anything, and he's got his builder's license, so he can help you with some restorations and repairs as well. Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, and our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing.
Dan Mullen, also visor guy. Dan Mullen. I don't know if that helps you or hurts your argument.
Yeah, would you put him on the list or not?
Yeah, let's come back to that. BreaklineOptics.com. That's where you get great-looking sunglasses like the ones. If you're watching on video, you see me in. You can save right now with code TNR20. 20% off your order right there at BreaklineOptics.com. These sunglasses are built by people that love to be outdoors. They love to play golf. They love to hunt. They love to fish. They're on the waterways. They're at the pool. And they built glasses where the elements you encounter at those places will not ruin the frames. And they also have these cast-molded Trivex lenses. Now, that may mean nothing to you, but let me tell you what it means to you. It means that you can't break them. We've pounded them in the pavement behind our building. Could not break them. Couldn't break them. And you will not either. I'll stand by that. And so will Breakline Optics. BreaklineOptics.com. Great-looking sunglasses built by local guys. TNR20 to save 20% on your order at BreaklineOptics.com. Gift-giving season, great idea. A pair of glasses from Breakline Optics. BreaklineOptics.com. Code TNR20.
Help me out here. Germie Bernard at 10.
Correct. Joel Klatt at 11.
Joel Klatt at 11 coming up on the guest. So we'll get into LSU Alabama weekend coming up at 10. Any name I didn't mention? You kept wanting to jump in for the Auburn search. Anything?
No.
Yep.
James Franklin, we talked about.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I said Jonathan Smith.
Jonathan Smith, yeah.
James Franklin being rumored for Virginia Tech. But, man, if I was offered Auburn over Virginia Tech.
Oh, not even close.
100% I go Auburn.
Brent Key?
You brought him up as part of the alumni group. I mean, tough time to discuss Brent Key. I mean, that was an embarrassing performance by them Saturday night against a team a lot of people had left for dead with NC State. But the guy has done a tremendous job turning this thing back around. I don't know why people...
I think it's a little early, though.
You think? That's what I was going to say. I don't know why people would be against him, except maybe you want to see a little bit more.
Yeah. If you lift up, the back of the hair right here, under that hairline right here, if you were able to find, it would be shocked that right here under the hairline there was a yellow label on Jimbo Fisher. Would that shock you? Jimbo Fisher in the conversation. Does he have conversations? Does he get an interview?
I've had multiple Auburn fans tell me they will never go to a game again if Jimbo Fisher is the head coach.
Well, that's a big stance.
Do they go to the Auburn games to begin with?
Were they there Saturday night?
I don't know.
That was your true test of fandom if you were there Saturday night.
Yeah.
Because you knew even in a win that was going to be ugly when Kentucky's playing you. Based
on not having the multi-view, I had to have that on one of my TVs.
I mean, Jimbo is a more accomplished coach than DJ Durkin as a head coach.
Oh, no doubt.
So, I mean, I don't know if Jimbo's above or below the Durkin line. I'd put him above the Durkin line. The guy's won a national championship. He's coached as an ACC coach and an SEC coach. There's value in that. But Durkin would be the more popular candidate over Jimbo Fisher.
Luke seems to think that if Florida State pulls the trigger, that's where Fisher
they go back to Jimbo?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, interesting. You can go see Tom Luganville on the Monday Morning Live. It's on our platform right now. Unlocked with Brock Heward and Lance right after our show today. Get details on what they think about that and a big weekend in the NFL as the Auburn search rolls on. By the way, $406,105 a month through January 31, 2029 for Hugh Freeze.
Which sounds insane. This is one of the more affordable buyouts you'll ever see, though. Number one, you don't have to pay lump sum up front. And number two, with respect, it's a very low buyout at $15.5 million. Hugh Freeze did that because he was desperate to get this job. So it's one of the smart things Auburn did in hiring him was build a very Auburn-friendly buyout into this deal because they knew Hugh would jump at almost anything to be the Auburn head coach. So it really, with respect, when you start looking at the numbers, this one's a pretty cheap buyout.
Yeah. By the way, even sitting SEC coaches have suggestions on who they think should be the Auburn next head coach. The only person that uses AI more than Scott Forrester is Lane Kiffin.
He loves to troll.
Lane Kiffin jumps on social media and throws out his suggestion for the Auburn coach as I stretch this out.
I've not seen it.
As I stretch this out so Forrester can punch it up. He says, how about that's Bruce Pearl as the head coach of the football team. Is that why he stepped down?
Kiffin.
So he could take over? Lane Kiffin.
He loves to poke the cage, doesn't he?
Yeah. Bruce Pearl is the Kiffin choice to take over. Be careful, Lane. Bruce may coach him up. Stephen coaches basketball tonight at 7 against Bethune-Cookman in the 71st straight sellout for Auburn at Neville. Alabama gets North Dakota. That little kid from North Dakota is not still playing, is
I
he?
don't think so. I think he transferred.
The Indian fella?
Yeah,
the guy that scored a thousand
Yeah,
points last year.
Eagle staff.
Yeah, hopefully he's not still playing for North Dakota. That's 7 o'clock tonight at Coleman. Alabama, 32.5-point favorite.
Then he's not.
So I would say he's not playing.
No, he is not.
Yeah, UAB opens up at home against Mississippi Valley State, 6:30 at Bartow Arena in Florida. And Arizona, 6 o'clock in Vegas. Number 3 versus number 13 as basketball season starts today. Bucky McMillan gets going tonight for Texas A&M. Sanford gets going with Lenny Acuff at Tulane. So basketball's off and rolling. Will be the first weekend in April when it's over with. And then it'll be time for the Masters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. All right, when we come back, the games that were actually on the field in college football and some other pretty amazing stats, all that coming up on the show that's being brought to you today by our friends at Bojangles Brownie.
You can make a bow time at Bojangles. Got more football coming up this weekend. We are entering the state playoffs in high school. So it'll be a fun playoff tailgate when you let Bojangles cater your tailgate. The watch parties, if you're not making it out to a stadium in Nashville or in Tuscaloosa this weekend, you can watch it right there at home with a great taste of Bojangles. They can cater your watch parties. And on your way to school tomorrow or to work, dropping the kids off school, try that pork chop griller. Still there for a limited time at your local Bojangles. You can make it bow time, either the tailgate party, the college football watch party, or on your way to work or school, make it bow time.
So we had our first losing Sunday yesterday at 1-2, and I'll tell you, I'm going to blame an injury. If C.J. Stroud doesn't go out, there is no chance the Texans lose to the Broncos yesterday. But we still took a 1-2 day. We did have a nice play with the Steelers knocking off the Colts, and we were 10-2 in college football this week. We are rolling at Lance's Lock. You get a free play every single day. We've got the side Monday night action tonight with the Cardinals and the Cowboys. Jump on and win with us. LancesLock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, cooling, any of those issues arise in your home or business. They are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, HempHillServices.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, company truck accident, car accident, or work-related accident? Call Alabama's largest personal injury firm. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys will fight for every dollar you deserve, and it won't cost you a dime. Trust me. What do you say, man?
Call me, Alabama.
Call 659-777-7777 or go to Shinara.com.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just non-stop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Catch up on all of today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place, nextround.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt, you can look your best by shopping with us at nextround.store. Take the Next Round anywhere with nextround.store. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
All right, here's our Grace Tree Service stat of the day before LT tells you about dead wood on the show and dead wood in his yard or your yard and how it can get cleaned up. Getting the coaches right at Auburn has been a mistake, it seems like, and that has caused some uniqueness in the Iron Bowl recently. This is a unique fact. We have not had a consecutive back-to-back coaching matchup in the Iron Bowl now since 2019. Saban versus Malzahn in 2019, 2020 Sarkisian versus Malzahn because of COVID with Nick Saban. 2021 Saban versus Harsin because Malzahn was fired. 2022 Saban versus Cadillac because Harsin was fired. 2023 Saban versus Freeze because Cadillac didn't get the job. 2024 DeBoer versus Freeze because DeBoer took over for Saban. And 2025 will now be DeBoer versus Durkin. That's
pretty wild.
That's a crazy stat.
It is, and if Durkin doesn't get the job, 2026 will be a new one.
Yep.
We'll just have to see who the name on the right is. But
the great Blake Byler, who covers Alabama, does a good job with that over there, with that interesting, unique stat there.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I saw that this weekend, and it just had never registered with me. Now, the obvious asterisk is 2020. Saban was clearly the head coach, but not in that game. He
wasn't. But dead wood occasionally on hires, cleaned up by our friends at Grace Tree Service.
Yeah, founded 30 years ago, family-owned, community-based, Bessemer, Birmingham, over 80 employees, 24/7 emergency storm services, and free estimates on all of their services, including the removal, trimming, health. You care for your lawn, care for your trees as well. They are the experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen your trees and plants. Call the guys today. Tell them the Next Round sent you. 205-255-1239. That's 205-255-1239. Scan that QR code right there or just go online. Go to gracetree.com.
Hey, before we jump into the actual games, let's go ahead and just finish Lane Kiffin's wonderful weekend on social media. Halloween, of course, was Friday night. Lane dressed up with I believe this is his wife, Layla, with him. Bloody knife. He's got Curiosity. She's a cat.
It's kind of a dark costume, honestly.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah.
I think that's Layla. I'm not great at identifying spouses, but I think that's Layla.
That's ex-wife, though, right? Are they divorced?
No, they're back.
Well, they're back together, but I don't know.
I never thought they got divorced. I just thought they lived on opposite coasts.
Maybe so.
Anyway, that's Lane Kiffin's business.
He could have done a better job with that.
I know that's a dark. I don't know how to describe it. It's a costume that kind of looks fun until you start doing the digging there, and you're like, that's kind of dark.
Yeah, it's a bloody knife,
Yeah,
but it is Halloween, Brown.
He's killing the cat.
But he could have just written curiosity below the belt.
Yep.
And then left the knife at home, right?
There's Lane Kiffin on Halloween. Spot the ball. He's ready to play. His team did not play great. They haven't played great against Georgia State. They haven't played great against Washington State, and now they didn't play great against South Carolina. Pete Golding's defense gets 6 sacks and 2 interceptions. South Carolina loses to Ole Miss. The Rebels win it 30-14. South Carolina fires Mike Shula because they've got the worst offense in the league. But Ole Miss wins without their A game. I think that's a positive.
Yeah, probably. I mean, 1 of 11 on third down, so, they weren't moving the chains. Trinidad Chambliss was really, really good again. They forced 3 turnovers, and, they beat a South Carolina team that seemed like they kind of limped in after giving Alabama a full 60 minutes. So, I don't know where. I think Ole Miss is good. I think they're going to end up getting a college football playoff. I don't think there's any chance they can win a championship.
Keywan Lacey's a big star there for them, 167 yards running the football. Trinidad, 12 of 21, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It was South Carolina's 4th straight loss. That team is underachieved. They have fired the offensive line coach and now the offensive coordinator at South Carolina. As I joked with Lugs, Shane Beamer's throwing dead bodies over the bow trying to say the captain at South Carolina.
It's what it looks like. That was the most puzzling hire of the offseason. You were coming off the best year South Carolina has had really since the Spurrier era. You are talked about as a potential dark horse playoff team. You need an offensive coordinator, and you don't go outside your building. You look inside your building, and you're like, I've got 20 years of history on Mike Shula coaching offense. I'm going to assume all 20 years of that is wrong, and I'm going to hire him as my offensive coordinator. What were you doing?
Lazy
It
hire.
was. What were you doing?
Yeah, and I don't understand and look, Shane Beamer's done a good job there. If I'm South Carolina, I'm fine with him. But if I'm another school, I don't want Shane Beamer. Would you guys want to hire Shane Beamer?
I would not. No. I like the way
he's done a good job there.
Yeah. I don't know how AP voters do their job, obviously, but Texas has lost. They played Ohio State closer than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Oklahoma. They're 7-2. Oklahoma's 7-2. Oklahoma's 11th in the new AP poll. Texas is 13th. Don't be surprised if Texas is ahead of Oklahoma tomorrow night. We'll talk all about the first selection show tomorrow. But Texas beats Vandy in what was a beatdown game until the very end, and then it's a backdoor cover for Vanderbilt. But 34-31. That was everything good about Texas until mop-up time. And that didn't really – it would have been crazy if they'd got that onside kick.
I think they would have won the game.
Who, Vandy?
Yep.
The Pavia was pistol hot at that point.
Yeah.
I just –
But how good did Texas look?
Well, they did. It was the best Arch you have seen. Arch threw for, 320-some-odd yards?
328, 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. No interceptions. Best Arch you had seen coming off, the concussion and all that had happened to him. At Mississippi State. This is just a really difficult Texas team to figure out. They go to Kentucky. You've seen how bad Kentucky is. They are fortunate to win that game in overtime. They go to State. They have to score 17 points, come storming back in the fourth quarter. They are incredibly fortunate to win that game in overtime. And now you've got Vandy dead to rights, and you can't close the door on them, and you're fortunate to win that game in regulation. It's such a hard team to figure out.
Yeah, Texas, really, really good defense with the 6 sacks, held Vanderbilt to, 58 rushing yards, less than 2.5 per carry. But their loss is coming up at Georgia.
Yeah, it feels like that. I'm not sure Georgia's a world beater, but Texas is just living on borrowed time, it feels like.
Bye week for Texas, and then they play Georgia, and that's a game if Texas wins. Watch out. It was their best O-line play. Arch Manning plays good when the O-line plays good. Imagine that.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
Probably look at the same things at Auburn and other places.
Yeah,
when the O-line plays good, the quarterback plays better.
Arch, as far as the accuracy downfield, he doesn't have it.
I know Oklahoma-Tennessee was billed as a elimination game, playoff elimination game, but truthfully, I'm not sure either team looked like a playoff team. Oklahoma wins it 33-27 thanks to Tate Sandel's short Daisy Duke shorts. the kicker with short pants, 3 50-plus yard field goals on the road in Neyland Stadium. But Oklahoma had just 99 yards of offense in the first half, and they still win the game.
Well, Mateer is still not himself. He's just not. Had success running the football a little bit, but as far as like throwing it, gripping it, it looks so different. Now, the good news for Venables in this offense and Ben Arbuckle is Xavier Robinson has really started to run the football. But I agree with you. I don't think either one of these teams, I think Oklahoma at the end of the year is going to be 8-4. I think there is a good chance that Tennessee's going to be 8-4.
Yeah, it was a playoff eliminator game. The loser was out of the playoffs, but I don't think in either case the winner was going to be in the playoffs. First of all, for Tennessee, you saw the Joey Aguilar that everybody was fearful. When he was transferring in, what did everybody talk about? Boy, this guy threw it. He turned it over a lot at Appalachian State. Turnovers were the problem. Well, boom, there you go. Against Alabama, a critical turnover that cost them any chance of winning that game. And then Saturday night, Lance, it was one after another.
3 turnovers in the game for the Volunteers, but that fumble return for a touchdown reminded a lot of people of Xavier Brown right before the half, returned for a touchdown. Just a bat-breaking turnover that leads immediately to 6 points the other way. That's always hard to overcome.
Yeah, and it was lucky he didn't step out of bounds.
I hate to say this. I think the SEC's become somewhat predictable as far as teams getting in the college football playoff. I think there are 4 that are locked in, and then I think that 5th spot is going to come down to Texas or Vanderbilt. I think the Big Ten has gotten really, really interesting on who their 4th team is going to be or 5th team. Because just imagine
most people have them at 3 teams.
5th from the Big Ten?
Imagine this scenario, though.
Sell me on this.
If Iowa beats Oregon this weekend.
Possible.
Yeah, which is very, very possible. Yeah. If USC holds on Friday night against Northwestern at home.
If you don't do that, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Then you've got a 2-game set coming up. So then Iowa goes to the Coliseum next weekend. And so you got two lost teams, elimination game there. And then the following weekend, you'll have 2 lost teams if USC wins that game against Oregon.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying all these teams in Washington is very much in the mix now.
Yeah. Boy, if the Big Ten gets 5. Oof.
I think even if they get 4.
I think they're going to get 4. I don't think they'll get 5.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be determined by the SEC. I mean, that's who's going to determine how many the Big Ten gets. Because
it could be the Big 12. We got all day tomorrow to talk about that selection show tomorrow night, but BYU, Texas Tech, they play each other this week.
Huge
game day. It disrupts SEC all day on ABC because they put that game on ABC at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Move the SEC game to ESPN.
I still may not take ABC off my screen.
Yeah.
I may not get them off my main.
I think it'll be funny if Georgia, Mississippi State beat them in the rankings.
Georgia, Mississippi State is in play, by the way. That is not a given for Georgia to go to Starkville and win that game.
Normally when I get up and get a workout in the mornings, my little workout room thing has got it's the only room in the house that's got Roku. And so my Roku doesn't have, I guess there's some kind of dispute with.
They don't have ESPN?
ESPN, ABC too.
Yeah.
So I watched Get Up Barstool for the first time.
Interesting. A couple more things before we get to the top of the hour. Germie Bernard joins us then to talk LSU and Alabama at Bryant-Denny primetime on ABC coming up Saturday night at 6:30 with Alabama's a 10.5-point favorite. Open there anyway. Show being brought to you by our friends at Central State Bank. Tell us about Central State Bank, Brown.
It is a bank that is big enough to meet every single need you have in banking, but they are still small enough to know you, and that's the key right there. Boy, when you deal with a community bank, it's just a different world, man. Family-owned, community-focused, built on trust for more than 100 years. Central State Bank has served Shelby County and Tallapoosa County with local decisions and personal service that feels like home. So if you're starting a business, buying a car, planning for tomorrow, Central State Bank with you every step of the way. Central State Bank, rooted in community, driven by relationships, member FDIC.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living, whether it's injection therapy, whether it's meal replacements, whether it's the protein bars I use to keep from bad snacking, Leslie and her board-certified team has it all for you there. Visit the website, aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. Way to Wellness has a personalized plan, no cookie cutter plan. Everything that you want there, including diet plans for diabetes, heart disease, sleep apnea, and a lot more with no contracts, no sign-up fees. And your first consultation is free. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Georgia, they beat Florida 24-20. The Dogs have come from behind in 4 of their 5 SEC wins. They do it again. 20-17, Florida's up. Billy Gonzalez decides to go for it instead of trying the field goal that would have made it 23-17 Florida. Right decision, wrong decision? As I was watching it live with about 7 minutes to go, I thought it was the right decision.
I thought that was the right decision. I didn't think going forward on 4th down on your own 30 with 3 minutes to go.
You'd have punted it back with timeouts?
I would have punted it back,
yeah. Because Kirby's going to run the ball there, and you'd done pretty well against their run for the most part until you didn't.
Chauncey Bowens.
Until Chauncey Bowens, hit the kind of the home run ball there. I'm with you. Watching the game live, I felt like you were in no man's land. Like when it gets under 4 minutes, a lot of it's determined by timeouts, obviously, but you had timeouts and the 2-minute warning, so you had them.
I just don't trust that Florida team in a one-down situation to be able to pick that up. I mean, Florida was 2 of 11 on 3rd downs. Offensively, they are just so challenged. But on the other side, Georgia 0 sacks against this Florida offensive line, and Georgia's defense is just different.
Yeah,
it's just different.
Yeah, it doesn't have the edge that it once had for sure.
Here's Kirby Smart talking about winning another close game, and if that helps them, ironically, in close games.
Does it help, or does it? I don't know. I don't believe in playing with fire, but if I could just write the script and say, yeah, let's go up by 14, let's go up by 21. I don't write the script, so the script kind of plays out. I know that our kids are not uncomfortable playing from that. They don't get chained to a scoreboard. There's people that play chained to the scoreboard. Our guys are free of that, and they just play to the team and keep chopping. And if you keep chopping, eventually good things happen. I do think we're very well conditioned. I do think our guys believe in winning in the 4th.
7-1, 5-1 in the SEC. Probably will be in the top 5 or 6 when the rankings come out tomorrow night. Doesn't feel that way.
It doesn't, but I think they need the quality he's talking about, Lance, because I think they're going to need it at State Saturday. I think that's going to be a tough spot for them in Starkville. I think they're going to need it against Texas in a game that you said that will end Texas playoff hopes, but I still think it's a tight game.
Oh, yeah.
And then say what you want about Georgia Tech. It's at Mercedes-Benz. It's not a true road game for them, but I still think they've got a lot of potential one-possession games coming up here.
So I brought this up, times over the last few years. Back when the Lakers won their first championship from 88 to 99, there was so much excitement, but by that time they three-peated with Kobe and Shaq. They were blowing teams out. It wasn't as much fun to watch. I wonder where Alabama and Georgia fans are on winning these games in one possession, because I go back yesterday and, we sat down to watch Rams Saints, and I had a feeling it was going to be a blowout. And I was like, this will be the only blowout you get all year.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy one blowout, because the other ones are going to come down, and you're just going to be sweating final possessions. Where do you think college football fans are? Do you think they want to whip somebody's ass every week?
I do, but I think they want every other game to be close so they can be entertained by it. They want their game to be the blowout and every other game to be close, and all we're getting right now is everybody's game is close.
Yeah, blowouts, when Nick Saban had it down in with Alabama, it was just boring.
Yeah, it was so predictable, but it is anything but predictable. I mean, Florida could have easily won that game Saturday.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think Indiana fans are enjoying the blowouts.
Doing
it exactly the way Saban used to do it.
They've been on the other side of them for so long in their life.
Long.
Yeah, they've earned it.
Viewing menu before we get to Germie Bernard. Dabo Swinney and his team lose again. They're now 3-5. LT, tell us about New York Butcher Shop, and then I will let you hear the soundbite that Dabo Swinney was fined $10,000 for saying after the game.
Yeah, so went by the New York Butcher Shop on Friday afternoon, decided to just let trick-or-treaters come by, which for the 3rd consecutive year, not one trick-or-treater, but just hanging out at the house, watching Game 6 of the World Series and enjoying some of those great fillets from the New York Butcher Shop. Called ahead, had them dusted up. They've got the fantastic sides made in-house fresh every single day. Goat cheese, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, those baked beans, and a fabulous selection of desserts. Had some of the apple pie, put some of that Jenny's caramel, salted caramel. So freaking good. But stop in 2 locations, Cava Heights, the original, Highway 119 in Greystone, one-stop shop, rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
So Dabo Swinney gets fined after another loss. His team is now 3-5 on the season with 4 to play. A late pass interference call led to another Duke touchdown, 46-45. Duke wins it after they get the 2-point conversion too. And Dabo said this after the game.
So really frustrated. Some critical penalties. I don't even really know what to say about the last call. I mean, y'all saw it. It shouldn't come down to that. We had plenty of opportunities to win the game, but that's one of the worst calls I've ever seen in a game ever in my entire coaching career, ever. In a situation like that, I don't really know what else to say, but I don't want to make that a deal because we should have won the game. I mean, we had plenty of opportunities to win the game, but you fight your butt off and you scratch and you claw and you get in a situation like that and you just have a call like that. Man, I mean, it's really that's just more salt in the wound.
I mean, he's absolutely right. And it was worth every dime of the 10,000. The official called what he thought he was going to see.
Right.
And they got hosed. Now, don't
the
let
Duke guy tackled the Clemson guy.
The Duke guy tackled the Clemson guy.
But have you gone back and watched it?
I have.
Yeah. Okay, so and I watched it again a couple of times this morning. There was so much contact, and it was like the Clemson DB was riding him for about 6 or 7 yards. So I wonder if the flag really was on the front end. Once they got to the goal line, the Duke guy did tackle the Clemson guy. There was a ton of 2 yards off the line all the way through the sequence. There was contact.
I don't know who the analyst was with West Durham on the ACC network, but I was watching live when it happened. And when the flag comes out, he goes, "Oh, I saw this happen. A Duke receiver tackled a Clemson DB to keep him from intercepting the ball. That's going to be the interference." That's what everybody in the stadium thought. And
except Manny Diaz.
Except Manny Diaz. Now, here's the other side of it. And Dabo owns this. I'll give him credit. Dabo owns this. You can't let Duke score 38 points to that point in your place.
Yeah. And then afterwards, you let them get the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, that's right. So you can't. You had no business being in that situation if you're Clemson, but that was a bad call.
Well, maybe. I mean, it looked like it, especially on the back shot angle when they replayed it. I mean, it looked so one-sided on Duke with the offensive pass interference. Crazy thing is this going to be the biggest disastrous year from where a team was to where they finished?
May not even make a bowl.
I think they're going to lose 2 of their last 4 games, and I don't think they're going bowling.
It's crazy.
Michelson Laser Vision gives us a viewing menu quickly before we get to Germie Bernard coming up on the other side. Tell us about Michelson.
205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama way back in 1995. I got the procedure done in 2003. Make the phone call that I made. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Only one new release today. Excuse me. Netflix documentary, In Waves and War. In this documentary, 3 former Navy SEALs with post-combat trauma turn to an unexpected treatment for healing and hope. Psychedelic-assisted therapy.
Oh, wow.
There's actually been a lot of breakthroughs in using different psychedelics and treating PTSD, and that's what this documentary will go over.
So is this like the Stanford experiment? I never really saw much about that, but I think that was drugs were heavily involved in the Stanford experiment.
No, that was just just getting a little bit of authority and seeing how far people would take that role.
Okay.
No drugs in the Stanford prison experiment.
That we know about.
That we know about, right. Netflix has also added Tenet to its catalog. It was a Christopher Nolan film that came out during the pandemic, and so theaters were in a weird spot, and they just threw it up on HBO Max, and I never watched it because it looked like something I wanted to see on the big screen, but I might just have to watch it on Netflix tonight.
I heard the audio is very challenging.
Any more details to that?
No, I mean, really, I heard the way it was filmed and like the character dialogue. I mean, people just made a big deal that it was challenging to listen to. I don't know.
Okay. And then finally on viewing menu, at 7:50 p.m. tonight on the FXM channel, you can watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, one of the best Tarantino films ever, and the movie that I think has absolutely ruined his career because he's obsessed with that story and can't move on from it.
It's okay. I'm excited about the adventures of Cliff Booth.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what everyone's watching tonight. A-plus takes us to our conversation with Alabama wide receiver Germie Bernard.
It will be a rebuilding job for a lot of programs with new coaches. If you want to rebuild in your house, it's our guy Brad Bell that does it for you. AlabamaBathRemodels.com is where you go to see more. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Brad specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. Not all he does, but it is definitely his specialty. If you want him to come out and look at your job, 205-422-1758, 205-422-1758. He's done great work in our house and many houses of those audience members that have used him. They will speak very highly, I can promise you, of what Brad has done. You got a room that needs redoing or several rooms that need redoing, get Brad out there to look at it. AlabamaBathRemodels.com or 205-422-1758 for Brad Bell. Germie Bernard talks Bama ball next.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Yo, Kinfolk, what's good, man? Let me holler at you for a minute. You know how life can be life. You're out there chasing that dollar. Every dollar is accounted for going somewhere. Then all of a sudden, bam! Out of nowhere, a car accident. All I had to do was hit up my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorney. You already know when that dude Alex pulls up the trial, he shuts down the litigation situation. Yo, go to Shannara.com. Hit him up at 659-777-7777.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation that legal services provided are billed at any other provider.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Never miss anything from The Next Round when you listen on demand through the podcast platform of your choice, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, turn on automatic download so you can catch every part of The Next Round. Listen anywhere in the world, anytime on the Next Round podcast feed, and support the show by following, subscribing, and turning on automatic downloads on any podcast platform. Listen anywhere in the world, anytime on the Next Round podcast feed. Thanks for always making The Next Round a big part of your day.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Rivalry game this week. LSU, who's lost 3 of 4, comes to Tuscaloosa off a bye week to play Alabama. Alabama 3-0 in one possession game. So good on 3rd and 4th down. Should be a great night at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
And Germie Bernard joins us each week at this time, courtesy of our friends at Form Energy. I am popping open right now one of the Grape Smash. Lance has the Orange Fury.
Orange Fury.
And Innisfree Irish Pub also brings you Germie Bernard. Germ, what is up today? How are you, my friend?
Good morning. Good morning. This game got me excited.
Yeah. What did you do on the bye? Did you get to watch some college football? Did you sit around and what games did you see?
I seen the Georgia-Florida game. I seen the Miami game. I only watched like a couple games. I had one of my close friends. He came in town, so he was chilling with me. So we spent a lot of time just playing the Wii, playing the game, chilling.
So are there other receivers, though, in college football that you like to check out? I know Ohio State, when you talk about great receiver rooms and you talk about all the guys in the NFL right now and what Jeremiah Smith and Cornell Tate are doing, do you like watching those guys?
Honestly, yeah, man. I love seeing other guys, have success. Just seeing them fulfill, their dreams, and they're really good receivers. You could take things from their game. Cornell Tate's a good receiver. Jordan Tyson is a really good receiver. Bell from Louisville. So there's a lot of great receivers around the country that I tune into.
Before we start talking LSU and Alabama and the Alabama off week and things like that, growing up, you were born in Las Vegas. You were in Nevada. I used to go to the coast all the time. I'll occasionally drive over to Nashville or Atlanta. Did you, as a high schooler or early on in life, as soon as y'all could drive, did y'all ever skip off to Las Vegas when you were growing up in, Henderson High School in Nevada?
I grew up in, what you mean? I grew up in North Las Vegas, but skip off to where?
Just to go and see the lights
to the
or
strip?
The show? Yeah. I go downtown
to
go to dinner.
Yeah, for sure. I've been downtown. I've been to the strip, all that. So, for sure, I used to go there with my friends. I also used to go there when I was younger with my parents, too. So,
have you been to the Sphere yet?
No, I haven't been there.
It's supposed to be amazing. Dunaway's been.
Yeah, I saw the Eagles there. There's a lot of artists I'd like to see there. Eagles were old, but it was fun. I like it. I'm not a big gambler. Because I'm not good at it. But I like Las Vegas for the shows and for the golf. I love the weather out there.
You can't go wrong with it. It does get hot though.
Germie Bernard is with us, and he joins us courtesy of a couple of great sponsors. First of all, Innisfree Irish Pub.
Yeah, the flagship of Tuscaloosa Bars, Tuscaloosa's Game Day Sports Bar. We will actually be broadcasting from there the Friday before Oklahoma. It's an Alabama tradition. They've got over 5,000 square feet of Irish food, drink, music, and a whole lot of atmosphere just north of the Strip in downtown Tuscaloosa. Also a location right here in Lakeview. It is the Innisfree Irish Pub.
And you can find Form Energy, PHORM, that we're drinking here. Form Energy at your energy drink retailers or online, formenergy.com, PHORM, formenergy.com. They've got great flavors like the Screamin' Freedom, which is Rocket Pop inspired, Grape Smash, Blue Blitz, and Orange Fury, all available at formenergy.com. I would imagine, Germ, that part of a bye week is self-scouting. When you go back, and I could be wrong about that. You may tell me I did zero self-scouting. And it may be something you do on the reg, but when you go self-scout, are you surprised things you find about yourself that you didn't realize maybe you were doing?
Yeah. So I always pay attention to the little details within my game because that's what's gonna separate me from a lot of other people. So just going back and watching film and watching the different things that I can do better, it just gives me a better idea what I can continue to improve on throughout the season, but each day that I'm able to practice.
How concerned, and maybe that's a bad word to use because you guys are sitting at 7-1 and you've won 7 consecutive games, but is there any, I guess I'll use concern about the lack of balance right now with this offense as far as having difficulties consistently running the football?
No, I wouldn't say there's concern. We know that we have a great offense. We have great players everywhere. We just have to be better with our execution, and that's what it comes down to. But I mean, I don't think we're concerned. We're just continuing to push forward and continue to, get better at the things that we are lacking. We know that we're lacking in areas, but that's the great thing about football and having 12 games. You're able to grow and get better as the season goes.
A big change for LSU since you guys went down there and handed it to them last year. Their defense has gotten much improved this year. When you look at that LSU defense, what looks different to you? What pops for them defensively that's a challenge for you guys?
It's all about us. If we execute how we're supposed to, then we'll be fine. But they have a great football team. They have great players everywhere. They went in the portal. They grabbed some guys. They're gonna be ready, especially coming off of the coach that just got fired. It can either do two things to the team. You can either bring them together and want them to fight harder, or they can separate. And I don't think that they have that type of program or that type of team. So we know that they're going to come in here and give us, our best shot. But like I said, it's just all about what we do and not about them.
Look, I know you're a team guy, but going back to the destruction of LSU last year, 42-13, were you somewhat bored watching just Jalen Milroe run up and down the field? Because he really didn't have to throw the football. 12 completions. You only had one reception in that game, but you guys won the game going away. I've still never seen before what we saw with Nick Sheridan and the offensive coaches, emptying the box in the third quarter and coming down to celebrate on the field with you guys. But as a team guy, I'm sure the win was great, but, you were just watching him run up and down the field, right?
Yeah. It was a good thing to see, just for him to, use the abilities he's got. Obviously as a receiver, you want the ball in the game, but for me, I am a team guy, like you said, but as long as we're winning and I'm contributing in some way, then that's really all that matters to me. It is going to be some games where you're not going to, get the targets and the receptions that you want, but that's a part of being a receiver. It's only one ball.
Do you find, I guess empathy would be the word, sympathy, empathy. It's more sympathy, actually. Sympathy for players on other teams that have lost their coaches. You just mentioned that's what's happened to LSU. It'll be their first game without Brian Kelly. Auburn fired their coach yesterday. Arkansas has fired theirs just within the SEC. There have been others with Penn State nationally, among others. That's not what you sign up for as a college football player. You sign up to come play in a stable situation. It's not happening to you, obviously. Things are going very well at Alabama. But what does it make you feel when you see guys that are doing the same thing you're doing at another school and they're going through a coaching change like that?
Yeah, man. It's tough, and I can understand it because throughout the 2 years I was committed to Washington in high school, they went through coaching changes, and as I was gonna start school at Washington, I went through a coaching change, and so I understand what they could be feeling right now, and how difficult it could be as a program, but that's not really our problem. That's not something that we're focused on. Our focus is on elsewhere. And so yeah, man, it does suck for those guys, but it's all part of the business.
Alabama back on the field Saturday night against LSU. Germie Bernard will be there. Germ, thank you for the time. Go to your meeting, man. We appreciate it. Talk to you next Monday.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys. God bless one.
All right, buddy. You too. Take care. Germ with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. His appearance each week, courtesy of our friends at Form Energy Drink and Innisfree. Form Energy Drink is available at your energy drink retailers. You can unlock your full potential with Form Energy. The best-in-class taste, high-quality ingredients, targeted levels, natural flavors, natural energy from caffeine sourced from green tea and zero sugar. So it's designed to provide hydration and mental clarity. We drink it here in the studio. Works for us, works for you. FormEnergy.com to find out more. PHORM, formenergy.com and Innisfree.
Yeah, and head to the free T-Town's best time. Get in there, see Nick and Tripp and Derek and all the guys. Again, Innisfree Irish Pub in Tuscaloosa, 5,000 square feet of the Irish food, drink, music, a whole lot of atmosphere just north of the Strip in downtown Tuscaloosa. We will be out there as a show from 11 to 2 next Friday, getting ready for Oklahoma and Alabama. But there's also a location right here in Lakeview of the Innisfree Irish Pub.
All right, so LSU and Alabama this week. Open 10.5. Is it hanging around 10.5?
I think it's 11 right now.
Up to 11.
Up to 11. So coming off of coaching firing, new play caller, all of that on the offensive side, but still have a pretty good defense down there. Here's Alabama tight end Josh Cuevas talking about Alabama now after a bye week and after going through all those ranked opponents the rest of the season and trying to stick the landing for the college football playoffs.
I think we're treating it like we're still in the gauntlet. I mean, especially like in team meetings and stuff, Coach DeBoer is like preaching that, we're not done. We're still in the middle of it. He puts a big PowerPoint slide with November has the games you're going to remember. So just kind of like treating it like that. And I mean, not taking a single day off and not treating every team like they're a national championship.
Interim coach.
Yeah.
Then Oklahoma, who's coming off of a bye week, and if Oklahoma had lost to Tennessee, could have been an interim coach for them. And then Auburn, interim coach at the end. I sort of feel like both LSU and Auburn are tougher outs with the interim coach than if it had stayed the same situation.
They might be. I don't necessarily disagree with you on that, Jim, but I think if you step back, though, and go back to August and look at this stretch after the bye, this looked like a brutal stretch after the bye. LSU, that team was going to be competing for the national championship, certainly a playoff team. Oklahoma, it's going to be one of the best teams they've had, certainly a playoff team. Auburn, you had in the playoffs, I thought this would be like an 8 or 9 win Auburn team, and you're having to play them at Jordan-Hare Stadium. You don't want your team thinking this way, but if you're an Alabama fan, you look at this month and you're like, this is not near the month I thought Alabama had to survive to make the playoffs.
Yeah, any of these losses would be brutal losses for Alabama. But, I mean, you can still absorb a loss and you're getting in.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the good news.
You got one to play with.
Like, the chances of them losing 2 of these games.
I mean, they could absorb one of these losses still be in Atlanta. I mean, keep in mind.
Yeah.
Their only losses out of conference. I mean, they are in a tremendous spot right now with a far less challenging November than it appeared that you would have if you went back to the start of the season.
Yeah, I would think this is an easy ticket now.
Bama LSU?
You think about back in August, this was probably one of those tickets, like probably the most difficult Alabama ticket to get.
I just wonder how LSU fans, that's what drives the ticket in this situation. LSU fans traveling, wanting to buy the secondary market is what drives the price up. I just wonder if LSU fans are engaged to travel to Tuscaloosa for this game.
Here we go. Tickets as low as right now, just looking at the schedule. What do you think?
My social media has it at $45.
Yeah, 57.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a low ticket.
That is a low ticket.
That is for this game.
I mean, Auburn at Vanderbilt, you know what the lowest ticket is there?
I'm going to say 110.
227.
Yeah, small
venue.
I know, but still.
Inverness Country Club gets us to our 4 downs today. Tell us about Inverness Country Club, where you can get out and enjoy great golf weather
They
this
have
week.
got memberships that fit everyone. We've got a corporate membership here. I know Brown and Bo, they take advantage of that and get out there. I've been out there one time to play. I need to get out there a little bit more, but the Inverness Country Club, they've got memberships that fit everyone from the social to the golf to the racket. Find your sense of community at the Inverness Country Club. Maybe you relocated or retired. Inverness, great place to network. Child care is also a big plus. You and your wife want a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid and go have yourself a day on the court or course. Dinner with friends on site, knowing that your kid is right there. Big plus. Best days happen in Inverness. To take a tour of this unbelievable club, call Erin. Make sure you tell her the guys from the next round sent you. 205-991-8608 or ICCalabama.com.
And all you college or high school football fans, after giving it your all on the field or cheering on your team in the stands, treat yourself to something tasty after the game at Culver's. From juicy butter burgers to creamy, fresh frozen custard, crispy crinkle cut fries, gooey golden cheese curds, something for everyone in your crew to enjoy. You'll find it at Culver's. Win or lose, Culver's is the perfect place to celebrate the sweet memories you'll make all season long. So stop by Culver's right there in Birmingham on Stadium Trace in Tattersall Park and make this game day a delicious one. Culver's, welcome to delicious.
First down.
Very random, but I did ask this question yesterday. What month do you guys like better, November or April?
April for me. I'm a warmer weather guy.
November, I get Thanksgiving, which is a fun holiday. I get the most important month of college football.
Yep.
April, I get the Masters and better weather. This is in the NCAA
It's
Final
tough.
Four. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I go November just because I love the temperatures cooling down. I do love that we get rivalry week. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday by far.
Yeah.
So I go November here. We've also got the NFL. I'm not as big. I like the Masters, but I'm not as big on the golf thing as you guys are.
I think I'm going to go November because of college football. But, boy, I don't want to have to make that decision.
Had nothing to do with sports for me. It was just weather.
Oh, if it's weather, it's easy.
But April weather kind of sucks.
I can, and I got pollen.
Yeah.
But if it's a weather discussion, it's an easy one. I'll go April, but
it rains a lot in April, too.
All things considered, I'm going to go November.
Second down.
Dolph Lundgren, 68 years old. Where does Ivan Drago rank amongst the best movie villains of all time? Now, you would have to put like a Darth Vader in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
Jaws. Would we consider a shark a villain?
Yeah. I mean, it was the antagonist in the movie, right?
There was just something, and kids will never, and it's Jack's favorite in the Rocky franchise outside of one, but people don't know the magnitude of that character and that storyline unless you lived in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, Ivan Drago everybody in the movie hated him. I mean, everybody watching the movie hated him. So I'm going to guess.
But didn't he typify like Russia back then? Like this unbelievable strength, robotic, everything about him.
But I think by the end, he was kind of sympathetic, wasn't he? Because you're
once he got cut.
Yeah. I mean, it was like this guy, he's just been pushed all his life into this. I mean, he's probably a top 10 villain.
Antoine Chigurh for me from No Country for Old Men. What do you think, Jeeves?
Yeah, Anton Chigurh, Darth Vader. I think you throw Sauron from Lord of the Rings in the mix.
It was the dude that jacked up the universe in the Avengers.
Oh, Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos.
He's pretty bad, right?
Jacked up the universe.
I mean, didn't he rip off the Thor's brother's head or something?
It was something like that. Yeah. Yeah, he did kill Loki. That happened.
Yeah, there you go. I think he ripped his head off. Dunaway, what you got?
I'll go with Jeeves's list right here. It's fantastic. I'll go with that one.
Third down.
Roseanne Barr. How old do you think she is?
63.
I was going to say 68, Jim.
73 years old.
73. We were both wrong, Jim.
Roseanne or Bobby Cox? Better career.
Bobby Cox.
Bobby Cox. I mean,
I would disagree.
Oh God, they were the dominant National League team.
They just
of
couldn't
the
get
90s.
over the hump. 1-1, and
yeah,
I mean Roseanne had the. I mean that was the number one sitcom.
Was over the hump for her.
But I mean that was the number one sitcom for like 15 years.
I mean the Braves were the number one National League team for like a decade.
It wasn't because of Bobby Cox.
Oh, he actually built it as a general manager.
Yeah.
I mean, that staff was ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think you're underselling Bobby Cox.
I think he drafted every one of those players when he was the general manager.
Yeah, he
went to coach them.
He was better looking than Roseanne.
Yeah, I mean, you like to discount coaches just because they got good players, and I've never done that.
Not necessarily
it is 100% true. You discount
Bobby Cox won
discount.
17 consecutive NL East, and he only won one World Series.
Yeah, I mean, it was underachieving, but you can't say he didn't have anything to do with the success.
No, but I think Roseanne coming from a call girl to becoming a huge comedian to having the number one sitcom for like a decade plus.
Was it really that long of a run that was number one,
Yeah,
Roseanne?
it was.
I never watched that show.
Yeah.
Never.
They gave her a spin-off, and then she fired off some tweets.
Yeah,
she had some drinks.
Happens to the best of
And
them.
then they had to kill her off, didn't they?
I think they changed out the main character or something.
I'll take Bobby Cox.
Fourth down.
Kendall Jenner, the ripe old age of 30 years old. Ultimately, better career, Drake May or Kendall Jenner?
I lose track of what all these Jenners have done. But they've all printed money. I do know that.
I think she's a billionaire, isn't she?
I'm sure
Doesn't
she
have
is.
her own?
I believe so. She's got some business. I'm not sure what it is, though.
You know what Drake May's got? The best record in the AFC.
Drake May is turned into a very good NFL quarterback. I did not see this coming.
They're
from
not
him.
beating anybody,
Yeah,
but they survive Atlanta yesterday on a missed extra point.
Tied with the Broncos is the best record in the AFC, 7-2. So Bo Nix right there with Drake
I
May.
know. Figure
even
that
though
out.
They were barely winning games. I'd probably go Drake May.
In a Dunaway in a conference where you've got Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, Bo Nix and Drake May are the teams that are leading right now. It's crazy.
All right, I'm seeing two different reports for Kendall Jenner's net worth. Some are saying $60 million, and then others say estimated to be $1.7 billion.
Okay,
that's a big discrepancy.
That's a big range.
I would call that a discrepancy. Yes.
Yeah, I'd say one is actually in her checking account, and the other is her counting her business entities.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Either
Personal
way.
wealth and professional wealth.
Either way, she's going to make more than Drake May, so it can't be a money discussion here. I think,
do you think the Titans are kicking themselves in the ass with how bad they are, and Vrabel's just, and again, the schedule hasn't, the schedule is what the schedule is, but you're doing it with a second-year quarterback. You still don't have the roster where you want it.
No.
And it's going to be hard for the Patriots to not make the postseason.
I agree.
Is that 4 downs? 4 downs today. We'll get to more NFL discussion right after we tell you about our friends at Company Distilling. Man, you mentioned the weather. That fire pit, perfect to grab a little Company Distilling neat or over ice and sit by that fire pit and enjoy this wonderful fall weather.
Yeah, big news. Alabama Company Distilling is available at ABC stores across the state. If you've been waiting to try a whiskey as good as the company you keep, this is your moment. Not only Alabama, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas. Scan the QR code. We've got a big giveaway coming up from our friends at Company Distilling. And don't forget, they've got 3 must-visit locations across Tennessee. Each offers something special. Townsend, Lynchburg, Thompson Station. Whether you're on a weekend getaway, planning a whiskey road trip, one of these destinations should be on your must-visit list. Go online to learn more. CompanyDistilling.com/Alabama.
After all the blowouts, 9 games yesterday, 7 points or fewer, 5 of them 3 points or less in the NFL. Bills beat the Chiefs again. If the playoffs started today, the Chiefs would not be in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And this has got to be frustrating for your Bills fan because now you've won 5 consecutive regular season matchups against the Chiefs, but you've never beaten the Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes matchup in the postseason. It always goes the Chiefs' way.
But it feels like if you're the Bills, perhaps now you've avoided having to go through Arrowhead.
I do think that's almost off the table.
Almost off the table. The way it would be back on the table, and this, you got to thread a needle here, is if the Bills don't win their division and the Chiefs do. Then all of a sudden you might be having to go through Arrowhead right away, not even for the AFC Championship game.
Ooh, that's a weird way of thinking about that.
But
with New England being 7-2, Buffalo 6-2, New England with the win over Buffalo right now, I could see it happening.
Yeah, I think when it's all said and done, I've got a feeling the Colts, even with the loss yesterday, is going to have home field.
Probably so.
I felt like it was a wake-up call yesterday. That offensive line fell apart for the Colts.
They played so bad. And, again, I'm glad because I had the Steelers plus 3.5. And that Broncos team is really, really good. But, again, Houston was catching momentum at the right time, and I think they were about to win their 3rd game in 4 weeks if C.J. Stroud doesn't go out.
Leaves the game with a concussion. Broncos win with a fourth-quarter comeback. They're now 7-2 on the year, tied with the Patriots with the best record in the AFC. Upsets in the NFC North. Carolina beat Green Bay. Minnesota upsets the Lions.
It was a wild early window for that division because you also had that Bears-Bengals game, which was the craziest game of the day.
Bears beat the Bengals.
The Bears beat the Bengals. The Bengals convert an onside kick, which you never see anymore. Go down and score, and then the Bears come back with 4 plays, only one of which was a complete pass for a touchdown.
Yeah, Colston Loveland takes it to the house, and that Cincinnati defense is absolutely freaking
garbage.
awful.
Terrible.
Minnesota is a different team with J.J. McCarthy, and not that he's going to wow you right now at the quarterback position, but he's not going to make mistakes.
The throw
He's
he made to
steady.
seal it was a terrific throw.
And look, I think now at 4-4, they're revived a little bit. You guys know I don't say this for a fact. I really believe the 2 best teams in the NFL right now are in the NFC West.
I saw one of them last night.
You think it's Seattle and the Rams, both 6-2, both win yesterday. Sam Darnold had Seattle rolling over Washington. Jaden Daniels leaves with a dislocated elbow. That was gruesome.
And
the
those
Rams handled the Saints.
Those should be your 2 favorites right now for MVP. Should be Matt Stafford and Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
for sure.
The Seahawks were so impressive last night. Jackson Smith and Jigba just having an incredible season. Sam Darnold looked like freaking Peyton Manning out there.
Scared to death. I think the Rams are going to go to San Francisco, and in this rematch, I think they're going to shake Mac Jones to the core. I think they win that game as 3-point road favorites. But then I am going to SoFi for the first time ever in 2 weeks to see the Seahawks. I got a feeling I'm going to see a loss.
I mean, they might be the best team in the NFL right now, the Seahawks, and were wearing their proper uniform last night. I mean, that was just
the Rams will not be.
Them.
This is rivalry. They're wearing their midnight black for the first time in 2 weeks.
Terrible.
Cardinals and Cowboys tonight, 7:15 on ABC. 5-game losing streak for the Cardinals. Kyler Murray doubtful to play, though. They're joking, or not joking, but hinting that he may have a role tonight. Cowboys are 3-4-1, needing a win.
That's legitimate, and this is so stupid. And I wonder how much of this has got to do with the trade deadline. You guys help me out. Do you think anybody wants Kyler Murray right now? But it seems like Jonathan Gannon has come out and said he's not healthy enough to play with a foot injury, but we have a special package where he's going to play tonight.
Yeah, so why would you not just start him and see how far you can play him, right?
I don't know what's going on, but I think they're dangling him out there, and I don't know really. If you're a team that's going to get Kyler Murray, you want him for the long play, but who really wants Kyler Murray?
I mean, he'd be an upgrade in some places, but not worth trading for, I don't think. I think if you're in one of those places, you just you draft and hope you get better.
More of college football, what went on this weekend in the next segment. Then Joel Klatt joins us to start the final hour of the show. We'll do our stock report and trash in that final hour as well. Unlocked with Brock Heward comes up with Lance and Brock Heward at 12:05 today. Woodhouse Day Spa takes us to break, Lance.
Yes, the Woodhouse Day Spa. Give the gift of relaxation from Stuart and our friends up there. Holidays right around the corner. If you're looking for an easy holiday gift, a lot of guys love to procrastinate. You like to wait till the last minute. You can actually do it with our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. I would say go on and knock it out. Just go online today. And you can order that gift card. They'll ship it right to you. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You can stop in that beautiful location right there at the Summit Shopping Centers. Go see Stuart and all the fine folks up there. Tell them the guys from the next round sent you. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the massages, the waxing, the skin care. For more information, stop in or just go online. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Yo, kinfolk, what's good, man? Let me holler at you for a minute. You know how life can be life. You're out there chasing that dollar. Every dollar is accounted for going somewhere. Then all of a sudden, bam! Out of nowhere, a car accident. All I had to do was hit up my people at Alexander Shinara Trial Attorney. You already know when that dude Alex pulls up the trial, he shuts down the litigation situation. Yo, go to Shinara.com. Hit him up at 659-777-7777.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation that legal services provided are better than any other provider.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Germie Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
All right. It's a beautiful day for football here at the stadium, and we're just about ready for kickoff. Score 0-0. And suddenly, I'm in the mood for a Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar. Now that's a winning combo. Yeah, crisp, refreshing. That hits the spot. When it comes to great taste, Coke Zero Sugar's always on the scoreboard. Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place. NextRound.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt. You can look your best by shopping with us at NextRound.store. Take the next round anywhere with NextRound.store.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Joel Klatt coming up at the top of the hour. Then we'll do our spotlight right before we get to trash. More college football things to talk about, including buyouts and new contracts. Before LT tells us about fractional financing, Rhett Lashlee, who could have been in the mix for this Auburn job, definitely was being mentioned in his native home state of Arkansas, gets a new contract at SMU. 2-year extension to the contract he already has. It takes him through 2032, and according to reports, making him one of the highest paid coaches in college football. That would put him over $10 million a year, if that is a true comment coming from SMU.
Yeah, I don't think he would have left SMU. Now, maybe for Arkansas just because it's going back home, but, we talked about this yesterday on our broadcast when we were talking about the firing of Hugh Freeze. He was the scapegoat for Gus Malzahn.
Yeah. It's interesting, too. You see this go one of two ways. A lot of times when a coach is getting courted and he gets the contract extension right before a big game, they can often lay an egg. See Matt Rule. Same thing happened to him. They get beat by USC. So SMU turned around after that and got their biggest regular season win in quite a while. It had been a long time since they had beaten that highly ranked of a team in the regular season.
Not since the death penalty.
Yeah, it went back to the Pony Express, didn't it? I can't remember the exact year. They kept saying it on the broadcast.
By the way, they were both together in the booth or in the suite.
Who's
Eric
that?
Dickerson and Craig James.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, they were watching the game.
They in the suite?
It was their first top 10 win since before the death penalty.
Yeah, I mean, it was a wild game. I don't know how I feel about the roughing the passer there. Boy, that was a late whistle, and that really may have decided the game.
You know what Miami's got? They've got poor man James Franklin.
They do. It's what I've always said about Mario Cristobal.
He will never, ever, ever win a championship.
He wins big games. He loses the ones he's supposed to win. They're 3-4 in their last 7 ACC games.
They can't win in the month of November.
Yeah.
They cannot win in the month of November. And here's the problem, though. You win big games, but you can't play in really big games unless you win those games against lesser competition.
They're 2-2 in the conference now, Miami, with a good resume wins. But they've got 6 teams, 6 of them ahead of them in the ACC standings. Virginia, who's unbeaten in the league. Jim, they lost to NC State. Yes, they did, in an ACC game that did not count in the ACC standings.
Which is perfect for the ACC, yes.
So they're unbeaten in the ACC by ACC rules. And then there are 5 one-loss teams, and then Miami with 2 losses. Miami, I think, still maybe the best team in the league. But
they're not going to be in Charlotte.
But there's 6 games between them and Charlotte, so they're not going to get there. Bad loss for them. Good win for SMU. You mentioned Matt Rule got his contract through 2032, where I think he's owed $71 million now, between guaranteed $71 million through 2032 total. And then he gets Dylan Raiola, who breaks a fibula, done for the year. And Nebraska as a program lose their 29th straight game to a ranked opponent, not top 10, to a ranked opponent, 29 straight. And Rule himself has lost 19 straight at different places as King Miller and USC beats Nebraska 21-17. 17 in that game.
Yeah, so I don't know how much of that game you got to watch.
A little bit.
Watch every freaking play. Jade Maeva will never be that bad again. Now, what I heard was the equipment manager put too much wax on their footballs because they thought it was going to be a little colder.
Oh, seriously? This is a legitimate
I mean, I don't know how public that is, but 9 of 23, like, he was making the worst throws that I have ever seen. If Raiola doesn't go out in the third quarter, they win that game.
Yeah.
And I love the traditional Nebraska uniforms. I don't like when you mix in black with these uniform combinations. But their blackout was really cool. I don't know if you guys saw it. They let the balloons go and everything. It just visually it looked pretty incredible.
It was cool. But if I'm in Nebraska, and listen, if you've watched the show any amount of time, you know how we feel about Matt Rule. We're a fan of his. But if I'm a Nebraska fan today, Dunaway, I'm like, I didn't necessarily want to get in the coaching carousel, but I've also married this guy, and we don't win ranked games anymore. And it's not all Matt Rule's fault. I mean, this goes back coaches before him, obviously. But if I'm a Nebraska fan today, I'm like, when are we ever going to get out of this hell?
29 straight.
They used to dominate these games. They wouldn't lose to a ranked team.
That's almost impossible. Like, you luck up and win the turnover battle, and you find a way to win one of these games.
Yeah, again, it's not top 5 or top 10 like it was for James Franklin. These are ranked games. You could be playing the 24th ranked team.
It's hard to compute that Nebraska, of all teams, is in that situation.
Yeah, and I'm not exaggerating. That was the worst you will see a USC quarterback
you're right.
play.
You're right. They had every opportunity to win that game.
Fractional financing, bringing you that conversation about 2 new contracts going into the weekend.
Yeah, if you have a small to mid-sized business right here in Alabama, maybe Georgia, East Tennessee, or the Carolinas, you're looking for that CFO service designed for businesses that need expertise, call our friend Rod Smallwood at Fractional Financial. Rod and his team provide expertise in cash management, budgets and projections, accounting, payroll, annual reports. Fractional Financial does it all. Not your typical contract CFO service. Fractional Financial works with clients face-to-face so they can make informed, data-driven decisions to get their businesses to the next level. Contact them today, 704-614-2083. That's 704-614-2083 or online, fractionalfinancial.net.
You can make a case, even if they lose one more, that Texas could be in as a 9-3 team because of that close loss on the road at Ohio State. And one of these wins down the stretch would be against Georgia on the road or Texas A&M if they only lose one. But with Georgia and Texas A&M out there, Texas is back in the conversation for the college football playoffs. And Sark says, hey, must-win games down the stretch. That's what November's about, and they're built for it.
This isn't really new for us. You know, we've been in this arena. We've been in these scenarios. And I think that's a tribute to our culture of our guys just continuing to believe in what they need to do to perform, and that you got to play 60 minutes. And some weeks you're down by 3 scores in the fourth quarter. Other weeks you're up by 3 scores in the fourth quarter. But you got to play all 60 in this conference for sure. So I just think there's a level of maturity that our players have in going into games like this, and especially in November, that you got to have. You know, as I told the team, that the games in November are the ones they remember, and that's when we need to be at our best. And I think we're growing and getting better as a team. Now, there's still room for improvement, which we need to get fixed as a staff. I was very proud of them today. You know, they came ready to play, and I told you guys this on Thursday. This was our best week of practice, and they came out and played like it early in the game. I wish we would have finished a little better, but that's okay. It gives me something to rip their ass about on Monday when we get together.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see when they get together today how injured they are at wide receiver, because as you watch that game happen, one wide receiver after another going to the tent into the locker room as they were losing players, they were sort of healthy. Other than Taft being out in the secondary, they were sort of healthy to start the game. Running backs, Wisner and Baxter back. The receivers were whole. Wingo with a big play out of the gate. But as the game went on, boom, he's to the tent. Boom, he's to the tent.
And the still shot of Ryan Wingo, that thumb was a mess. I don't know where we are there.
And you finally identified, Wingo and Emmett Mosley has been a big factor the last couple of games for the Texas offense. Going back to our 3 guarantees, I said Texas, one of my 3 guarantees, 9-3, first 3-loss team to get an at-large. That's still on the table, but if you go back, Ohio State, that game was not even close. I know it was 14-7. Yeah. They got dominated. And then the wins against Kentucky and Mississippi State, I give them credit. They came back and won those games. How they won them, especially Mississippi State, is just baffling. They are 7-2, so everything's in play. This Texas defense is really good. I still think the offense is kind of.
Do not trust them. Don't trust them.
They did play Ohio State better than anybody so far.
Well, that's a low bar. I mean, Ohio State has not played a tremendously difficult schedule, but I would agree with you on that.
Score-wise,
yeah.
Just because their defense is that good. Saban's first start.
They played them better than Washington did.
30-6, 14-7.
Yeah, played them better than Washington did. Who else has even been? Well, I mean, Penn State actually.
But there was never a moment of doubt that Ohio State was ever going to lose that game.
Yeah, but there hasn't been in any of their other games.
No,
either.
you're right.
I mean, Penn State, they scored right before the half. They got that fumble, scored right before the half.
17-14
and a half. It's 17-14, and you're like, if Ohio State continues to sleepwalk, well, they didn't. I mean, they turned it on in the second half. What?
Caleb Downs targeting. Man, they didn't call it targeting. How is that not targeting?
I don't know. I sometimes I just don't know what targeting is. Like, what game was it in the Florida-Georgia game?
Like, that even surprised Caleb Downs. Like, he had to put his helmet back on. He went, ooh.
Oh, no, it was in the Auburn game. The targeting where Jeremiah Cobb is running the ball, and they call targeting, and they review it and wipe it.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it's targeting on anybody, it's Jeremiah Cobb. He's the one that lowered his head and led with the crown.
Never call it on him.
Never gets called on the offensive guy. And it's like we're looking for it on the defensive guy, but they're never looking for it on the offensive guy.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, 11 of 11 on their targets, 247 combined, 3 touchdowns. Tate has 5 touchdowns of 20 or more yards this year, and they are on the pace. And I'm surprised this did not happen in Tuscaloosa. But I was reading today at The Athletic that there is a chance that Tate and Jeremiah Smith will become the first teammates to become Biletnikoff finalists. And it's hard to believe that didn't happen during any of the guys in Tuscaloosa or LSU.
Especially the window where you had Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Calvin Ridley, I think all on the same team.
Do we only ultimately get 3 finalists for the Biletnikoff? And the only reason I'm bringing this up, I go back to 2019, and those are all great examples, but Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, to your point, how they weren't both finalists is pretty crazy.
Even if you have 3.
Yeah, those could have been 2 of the 3
If
easily.
you need to know, and look, Ohio State knew going into this game that it was going to be kind of, there wasn't going to be a lot of balance with Grunkmeyer getting the start for Penn State, but to hold them to less than 2 yards a carry is pretty impressive. And when you start to look at how this thing's going to play out, they've still got to get over that Michigan hump. Indiana's going to win out. I think Ohio State's going to win out, and it's going to be 12-0, 12-0, 1 versus 2 for that Big Ten championship.
In an exhibition game.
In an exhibition game.
Yeah, both of them are going to be top 4 seeds with a bye.
But I do think for Indiana, how big would it be to get the win, be the number 1 overall seed?
Sure. I threw the scenario out with Luganville today because I think you believe Alabama wins out.
I do, yeah.
I do.
Okay. A&M wins out.
I
just say they do.
I do.
Alabama, A&M win out.
Yep.
Because they don't play each other.
That's right.
Indiana and Ohio State don't play each other. They went out.
Okay.
That you could have by the college football playoff rankings in whatever order they end up putting them in, 1, 2, 3, 4, playing each other in the Big Ten SEC championship game. At that point, both of those are scrimmages. They're exhibition games.
Well,
because even if you lose, they should get the bye.
There's no doubt they will. I'm not. You don't even have to say they should. I don't think there's any doubt that they will get the bye.
Well, and this is what might stamp what we have talked about.
Time of death.
Yeah, no more college conference championship games, because if you get backup quarterback starting, would you be surprised if you were locked in?
I don't think they have the guts to play backups in those games. But I wouldn't blame them if they did.
I mean, could you see Kalen DeBoer saying, we think Ty can go. He got his hand dinged a little bit in the Iron Bowl. He gutted it out at the end of the Iron Bowl. We think he can go, but, if the doctors don't clear him, we're going to go with Alston here. Or if you're Mike Elko, Marcel, he got a little dinged up against Texas. We think he can go, but we're certainly not going to risk it. I mean, if you're a coach, you don't just say, no, we're playing backups. This game doesn't matter. The other side of that, though, is
if you lose any of those starting quarterbacks, it's –
well, you just saw it with Georgia last year.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia was largely an exhibition game for them. They lose Carson Beck on a bizarre play at the end of the half.
That probably impacted their chance of winning it all.
I think they could have won it all. They lose a tight game to Notre Dame, who ultimately plays for the national championship.
Yeah, now I don't think they're beating Ohio State.
Probably
not the way Ohio
not,
State was playing, but they would have probably played for the championship.
That's right. Interesting scenario down the road at the end of November, early December, as we get ready to head to Atlanta for that championship game in about a month now.
And by the way, if A&M is going to be undefeated, they're going to earn it because they go to Missouri this week. I know Zollers is starting, but then they've got to go to Austin to play Texas at the end of the year. Those are 2 really difficult games, top 15 games.
A couple of folks before we continue the conversation, and it's pretty good to be Ole Miss right now because they could win out and not be in Atlanta and be sitting pretty good, probably as the 5 hosting the group of 5 team in a playoff game, a group of 6 team. Show being brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Tell us about Hemphill.
205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys awaiting your call. Any situation you've got, home or work, the plumbing, the heating, the cooling, trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for any and all of those issues. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Oh, and it's game night in Tuscaloosa again. You know your game day headquarters is the Pants Store in Tuscaloosa. If you want to go by the Pants Store in Auburn, Huntsville, Birmingham, if you're an Auburn fan and just get rid of all the Hugh Freeze era stuff and buy new stuff for the new coach in the future, or for holiday gifts for Bama and Auburn fans, the Pants Store, your place, Huntsville, Auburn, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, online, pantsstore.com. The polos, the hats, the quarter zips with the name brands like Horn Legend, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Gentile, War Eagle, and Roll Tide with our friends at the Pants Store, and all the women's wear, boots and dresses as well. Free alterations, free gift wrapping, and shipped anywhere, pantsstore.com, pantsstore.com. Here's Lane Kiffin talking about Trinidad Chambliss, who struggled in the game against South Carolina, 12 of 21, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But he's a guy that is still learning. And here's Lane Kiffin on his QB.
Today, just in game, in the moment, what were you kind of seeing maybe he was struggling with?
That happened. Everybody's not going to play great. Same thing whatever sports you guys go play, golf, tennis, whatever. You don't play the same every time. Sometimes you just have some days you're off a little bit, and when you have that, you need to have your defense play well and your running game play well. And I think we have a really good feel for that and don't just call plays when we feel that. I feel that down there, and then we take the air out of the ball a little bit and get what you would call conservative. So it's not as exciting to watch. I think we got booed once. I understand. I felt the same way. But you're playing in the game because you're understanding the game, that you're playing really well on defense. The last thing you want to do is throw a pick and turn it over and limit, and then start getting in a sack game, which is what they feed off of. A team feeds off of sacks, especially with number 6. And we gave none up today, and part of that was by being conservative.
I played that soundbite for 2 reasons. 1, Forrester gave it to me. And 2, that's a mature Lane Kiffin who would have forced the play calling at a younger time in his life.
And probably criticized the fans for booing, too, and said, I felt the same way. Let me say this. I wouldn't read too much into this for Chambliss because South Carolina's given a lot of quarterbacks this year their worst day. I mean, you saw Ty Simpson probably looked the worst he's looked all year. Nussmeier threw 2 interceptions against him. Mateer was terrible against South Carolina.
Difference was Ole Miss had Kejuan Lacey to go to and 167 yards of offense. Alabama didn't have that guy. They had Trinidad only had to throw it 21 times.
Yeah.
They had Ty in his worst day throwing it 43 times.
This is not going to be a popular take, but I think Chambliss might end up being a better college quarterback than Jackson Dart.
I can see it.
Jackson Dart, next level. He's just got this energy, and he.
And we'll see on him in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean we'll see. But I think Trinidad Chambliss, a little bit off there, but still with his legs, got things done, and they were terrible on 3rd downs, but they win the game going away.
Joel Klatt in just a second, but a couple of coaches who will play each other at the end of the year. I want you to hear from Shane Beamer and Dabo. As you listen to them, you let me know whether you could see them moving on at any point, whether by their own doing or not. Moving on maybe this year to go somewhere else because there's going to be a lot of jobs open. Here's Shane Beamer first when he gets asked, because these were high I think it was number 11 or 13 where South Carolina started the season. And now they're fighting for bowl eligibility in Columbia. Do bowl games matter, Shane Beamer?
Yeah, now we need to find a way to win. I mean, there's a bunch of competitors in that room, and I know you wrote yesterday that do bowl games matter? Yeah, bowl games matter. And we're trying to get to a bowl game. And the only way you can do that is finding a way to win a football game. And We got a lot of work to do. We're not where we want to be. We got a bye week to continue to try and get better and fix some of these issues, Jordan, and go to College Station. And we're not thinking about what's beyond College Station. It's this week getting better and then figuring out a way to go out there and compete. These guys will respond. I don't have to dangle anything. I don't have to go in there and give some, Newt Rockney win for the Gipper speech to try and get these guys motivated to play. Like they'll compete. That's what they do. We're sick and tired of this feeling. I'm tired of coming into the team meeting on Sunday, and I told them that before the game. I'm tired of coming into the team meeting on Sunday talking about how close we are, talking about we didn't finish, and they're tired of hearing me say it. They're tired of feeling that way, and we're going to go right back to work and try and fix the things that we can to get better so we can finish. And as competitors, that's what we're trying to do is just we get another opportunity to go compete in 2 weeks, and that's what we're going to do.
Is he a good coach, or is it guerrilla warfare with him that he can just jump out of the weeds and shoot you?
I don't know. I think he's done a good job there overall. Bowls matter because if you don't get to a bowl, you're sub 500 making millions of dollars. Now, the one thing I would say on the other side of it is the schedule has been absolutely brutal. You've lost to Vanderbilt, you've lost to Missouri, LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, and Ole Miss. But of those 6 SEC losses, only one has been one possession. That was last week against Alabama. Most of these games have been blowouts. So at least with Lenore Sellers, again, who will be a first-round guy, I don't care what happens. Lenore Sellers will end up going in the first round because of the upside. And when you've got a quarterback like that, you got to be able to find a way to at least Hugh Freeze it and make them close.
Well, if bowl games matter, they got to bye, and coming out of the bye, they get to go to College Station and try to earn their way into a bowl. They can't lose another game and get in one of those bowl games that matter. They're at 6 losses already. You started setting that up by asking, could you see him in a different place? And I do wonder. I'm not going to make an argument that Virginia Tech is a better job than South Carolina. But if Virginia Tech came to him and said, we want to try to get that Beamer thing going again, Beamer ball going again. We're going to commit to you X amount million in NIL. We've already got that money in-house. It's committed.
Yeah, they've already got that committed to your point.
That's right. We're going to give you 8 years, guaranteed contract, $10 million a year. If you could reset the clock with that, would you do it?
Do you think they want him?
Oh, I don't know.
Not if they can get James Franklin. But what if Franklin took another job?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying, Lance, if that were the offer.
Beamer,
if you're Beamer, not South Carolina, not Virginia Tech, but if you're
the positive is getting out in front of the posse.
That's right.
We've always talked about.
I get a reset.
But the negative is, do you damage your father's legacy at all if you just go completely shit the bed?
Yeah,
that's a tough game now, or tough job now.
And then there's Dabo. There's a lot of jobs open. And Dabo's got they're not going to fire Dabo. They can't fire Dabo. Too much money. Here's Dabo afterwards on just how frustrating this season is. By the way, if you're wondering how frustrating this season is for Clemson, they are on their way to their worst season since 2010 when they were 6-7, I think is the year it was. It was, 2010, 6-7. He's got a $60 million buyout. Here's Dabo.
Is this the most frustrating year you've had as a head coach here at Clemson?
No, 2010. We put this one in 10, probably right there, those two. 10 was brutal. We lost 5 games by 6 points or less, 2 in overtime, and it was brutal. Walk-off kick. We down there at Auburn, they went on to win the national championship. We lead the whole game. They come back and tie it. We miss a kick late. We miss a wide-open play to win it in overtime. That was a really brutal year, and lost at home here to South Carolina. Thought I was getting fired right here in this room. Actually, I walked out right there and walked around, and Kath, may get fired today. Graham's sitting in the back there, so I don't know. But can't say I blame him. So I would say 2010, and then obviously this season, incredibly disappointing. The season's not over. We're gonna fight and battle and see if we can finish somehow, some way on a positive note. But this is, we've had 14 great years, but this is definitely the worst we've had since then.
Look, you never fire this guy. And you guys know where I am on Dabo, but 13 of the last 15 years, including this year, which will be, a year they don't get to this number, obviously, they've won double-digit They've had double-digit win seasons. They were in the college football playoff last year. It wasn't pretty, but they still won 10 games last year, and they won the ACC.
I had somebody ask me over the weekend, you think Dabo will go to LSU? I was like, would he go to LSU? Well, why would LSU want Dabo?
Yeah, that's
what's
the thing.
appealing about that? I don't think there's any way that's a discussion.
I don't think any of these big jobs want Dabo.
Yeah,
none of
well,
them.
And it's
Go
not,
a step down. What if Lane Kiffin goes to LSU or Florida?
And
If you're Ole Miss.
Would I want Dabo? No. And I'll tell you why. This has got nothing to do with how you perceive Dabo as hokey or whatever. It has everything to do with this guy has been openly resistant about playing the game the way everybody that's being successful is playing the game, which is NIL and transfer portal. Everybody, like it or hate it, the Ryan Days and Kalen DeBoers and Steve Sarkisians and Kirk Signetti's, all the teams, Kirby Smart's, all the teams that are at the top, they've all said, I may not love it, but I got to embrace it because it's the way you win games.
He could leave those comments with him at Clemson and be a new person.
But you got to sell me on that.
But I want somebody that's hungry, too. Like, I just wonder if Dabo, and again, I don't know Dabo, I just wonder if he's lost that hunger. It seems like Hugh Freeze has lost a little bit of the hunger, and, you know, when these guys get millions and millions of dollars, and I mean, you just heard Dabo say, hey, maybe they want to fire me, and kind of laughs it off. I mean, he knows that he's like Teflon. You can't do anything with him.
I mean, you can't fire him. You're right about that.
Joel Klatt on the other side. The show being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Gets us to a new look. Joel Klatt on the other side.
205-969-8100. I got the procedure done way back in 2003. I still have the 2015 vision. Better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made. Very important. As for Amy, tell her the guys from the next round sent you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. 205-969-8100. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama. No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order.
All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Catch up on all today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
I didn't need Sling. I didn't need Fubo or anything else. Joel Klatt never left my YouTube TV. He was there ready to go this past Saturday. Reliable Joel Klatt.
And in high definition.
And in
4K. He was in 4K.
And in 4K.
He was in 4K. Yeah. He had Ohio State and Indiana.
Boys?
What is up, Klatt? How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm doing well. Gosh, man, I love November. Isn't it just different? Like we roll over and now it's like real. All the games early in the season are so much fun and we get excited for them. But now it's real. There's injuries. Teams are fighting, scratching. I mean, outside of like the Citadel games and everything that you guys like to play, November is the best.
You know, the
best.
Easiest way to know it's November is watch a Miami game. If they lose,
yeah, buddy,
you know it's Mario Cristobal. It's November.
Yeah. Oh man, Mario lost. I need to turn Mario
just
lost.
Turn on, if you don't know what month it is, just turn on Miami or Maryland, and just like, oh, it's September. They look incredible.
That's how we know to turn our clocks back.
Yeah.
Mario loses the game he's not supposed to. Oh, you got to turn it back an hour.
Mario savings time.
Hey, this is going to be
and they're like we're in a cold weather game in Dallas. You know,
this is going to be one of those years though where the Group 5. And look, and I'm all about the Group 5 getting in this thing. You know, I thought Boise.
Are you?
I
don't.
Well, okay. Well, here's what I was going to say.
Guys, what are we doing? It's such a. It's in a way to avoid litigation. That's all it is.
Okay, well, here's going to be my point.
They should go have their own national championship.
Okay,
please.
Okay, but
I'm
I'll let you roll.
For it. But they just take up a spot for nothing.
Outside of them absolutely taking up a spot this year, the ACC is going to do the same thing. The ACC is garbage.
Throw them out.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to see where your take was on that because
throw them out.
The ACC does not deserve a team in the 12-team playoff this year.
I think that there should be a provision that if your champion isn't in the top 10 or 12 in the country, that you don't get inclusion. Is Virginia going to go? Now, granted, here's the thing. I can respect and really admire what Tony Elliott has done at Virginia, which is totally admirable, guys. Like, he's done an excellent job at Virginia. And obviously, in hindsight, maybe the success at Clemson was more because of Tony and Brent Venables than it was Dabo. And because of what we've seen since they left, both of them. So Tony Elliott has done an incredible job at Virginia. And there is no world whatsoever where Virginia is even a top 15 team in the country. Like, not even close. They're not a top 6 team in either the SEC or the Big Ten. Not even close. In the SEC, probably not even top 9. So what are we doing?
As an outsider, we've spent now almost 24 hours breaking down the Hugh Freeze dismissal down on the Plains and what is and what isn't the Auburn job. From the outside, What is the Auburn
do you want to
job?
ask me this?
Yeah.
This
Please.
This could be. Oh boy. Guys, it's not a good job. Like I don't, cue all the Auburn fans getting all upset. Their expectations are over their skis. They aren't even the best job in their own state. Like to be a good job, you've got to be a top job, top 2, 3 job, 4 job in your conference. They're not even the best job in their own state. And it's not even like close. Obviously, it's Alabama goodness gracious. And yet the problem is that Auburn's expectations are in line with Alabama's expectations. And it's just like, hey, like that ain't it. It's like the sister of the beauty queen that just ain't quite, you know what I mean? Like, she comes along a few years later and she's like, my sister was the homecoming queen. It's like, yeah, well, you ain't your sister.
That end of answer? Is that where we are? End of answer?
Well, with that said,
Auburn ain't Alabama.
Okay.
Well, I brought this up.
So they bring in all of these guys, don't give them enough time to build, and then fire them as if they're supposed to be Alabama next year. And like that, so that's where it's like, listen, if there was some measure of patience at Auburn, I think it would be a better job because they've got resources. They want to win. Those are good things. They've got a history. Now, granted, their national championship was with a player that maybe more so than any singular player in the history of our sport dragged their team to a national championship with Cam Newton, and I know that they went back, Nick Marshall and played the Winston team, the Florida State team. And so they've had success. I'm not saying that you can't have success at Auburn. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the way that they operate is not in line with what they are as a program. And that ruffles a lot of feathers when you say that about any team, by the way. And there's other jobs like that. I've said that about, Michigan State at times, and their fans get all upset. But it's the truth. Like you can't be a great job if you're not even the best job in your own state.
Well, and the fact of the matter is we've been doing this show a long time together, but this will be the 5th full-time Auburn coach once they hire it in the 15 years we've been doing this show. And I brought this up, and there were some Auburn fans that got on my ass because they were like, you don't know what you're talking about. But I said it earlier in the show. If Eli Drinkwitz is offered this job, I don't think he would leave Missouri. And you tell me what you think there.
I totally agree with you.
And then the other thing
Why would he leave Missouri?
This went a little bit more controversial. John Sumrall, who, if Auburn is smart, would hire if he'll take the job. But I just brought up the fact, if something happens with Stoops, just hear me out, and if his alma mater in Kentucky was open and he chose between Kentucky and Auburn, and I brought up the expectation thing and how much more patient Kentucky they are with their coaches, football coaches, do you think there's a chance Sumrall would pass on Auburn to go back to his alma mater and coach Kentucky?
That's a great question. And the fact that it's worth pondering, I think, tells you everything about the job, right? Let me go back to your first point. I wholeheartedly agree. I read some stuff and they're like, well, obviously they're going to go get Lane. Like, there's no way you would leave Ole Miss for Auburn. Just ain't happening, especially with Florida and LSU open. And then Drinkwitz, I wouldn't leave Missouri because I feel like, again, I think that's their expectation is more in line with what their program is. The Kentucky one is interesting. If you believe that you need time to go and build what you want to build and do it right, like Tony Elliott at Virginia, right? He's had a few years, and now he's reaping the rewards of that. Then you go to Kentucky, because Auburn is going to think that they're going to go and next year compete for it. And then if you lose your first three SEC games, they'll be sitting there like, well, what are we going to do now? So yeah, I think it's tough because I think Auburn is a great program. I love Auburn as a program. I think it's better when Auburn is a top tier SEC team, but this is not a job that's that attractive, but it's because of the way the people around the program have behaved in the last 15 years. again, it's about expectation. It's about pulling the trigger as quick as possible. Plus, you guys know, probably even more so than I, but I've got, enough connections to know that, like, when it starts going south at Auburn, it gets nasty. And there's, the Harsin stuff and everything going, there's a lot going on at that place.
Joel Klatt is with us on the Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys Hotline. The big noon kick Saturday is Indiana at Penn State. Penn State showed some life in the first half against Ohio State. Can I just ask? Okay, I see. No, can I just ask? Did you not have? I'm just going to ask, Klatt. You don't have to answer this. Can y'all not do Big 12 games in the big noon kick? Are you not allowed to? Why would you not? BYU Texas Tech is maybe the best game in the country.
For sure.
Well,
I don't believe we had access to that.
Okay.
Pick.
Well, what about?
We still share that. We still share that with ESPN.
Okay, fair enough.
And so, the draft, and I think that's an ESPN pick.
Yeah.
BYU
Texas Tech. It's on ABC. So yeah, Disney had the pick there.
Yeah. So they chose that before we could even get to it. Now,
Oregon, Iowa.
There are.
I mean, did y'all have that one? Could y'all have picked Oregon, Iowa? I'm just asking the question. I don't know how this works, Klatt. I'm not trying to pour salt in the wounds. I just don't know how this works. Could y'all have done Oregon, Iowa?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
Is this a you pick?
No.
Hey, but this conference is about to get crazy when we talk about the fourth or fifth team, because we brought this up earlier, Klatt. If Iowa beats Oregon this week and USC does what they need to do in the Coliseum, and I'm not saying these are great teams by any means. Jade Maiava was...
Well, of course you're not. They're not in the SEC. So please,
Maiava was as bad as
understood.
He could possibly play. With all that said, if USC wins and Iowa wins this week, then the next 2 weeks after that, you have USC and Iowa, two two-loss teams, one-loss Big Ten teams, and then 2 weeks after that, you've got USC going to Oregon. So, it's going to be really interesting to see that fourth team from the Big Ten that gets in.
Yeah, almost as if college football fans really care about the college football playoff.
Yeah.
And, that we should be doing games that are centered around the college football playoff narrative. Yeah, interesting. Weird. Someone may have been making that argument internally that didn't win. So we're going to Penn State, so that'll be fun. They've lost 5 in a row, and get to see Indiana blow the doors off of them. I do think that the issue around potentially like a fourth team out of the Big Ten is fascinating, because Iowa is playing a lot better football, even though the AP doesn't give them a ton of credit. I do think the committee tomorrow night is going to rank Iowa, just because. Guys, they lose on a field goal early in the season to Iowa State in a rivalry game. They're tied 13-13 with Indiana, and with under 2 minutes to go at home, and end up, losing that game in tough fashion. The committee's going to look at that and be like, Indiana is one of the 2 best teams in the country, maybe 3 best teams in the country if if you're throwing A&M in there as well. So I don't see any possibility that Iowa is not ranked. And so that now all of a sudden you've got Oregon going to Iowa, which is going to be an incredible game. So I hope Brad and Gary have an incredible time there. They will call a phenomenal game. And I do think that one's going to be a good one. Oregon's not going to run away from that Iowa team. They're playing really good on the defensive side. They're running the ball well. It's typical Iowa. They don't throw it well. But they'll be tough to beat at home. And then you start looking up and, Oregon's got a tough November. And everyone's just assuming Oregon's going to be this 11-1 in the playoff for sure. They've got to go to Iowa. They still have to play USC at home. And then, guys, they have to go to Washington. And that's another team that I think is better than some around the country believe. And that's a team that, at least up to that point, doesn't have a ton on their schedule, and they could be playing as a 9-2 against Oregon at home with a chance to be 10-2. Michigan, if they continue to win these ugly games, could be a 9-2 playing Ohio State in the last week of the season with a chance to be a 10-2. So that that fourth team from the Big Ten is a fascinating few weeks that's about to play out.
This Texas Tech BYU game. I'm surprised at what BYU has done without their quarterback. They may have a better quarterback now in Bear Bachmeier. And then there's the discussion about Texas Tech buying this roster, and they're continuing to do well in recruiting and their access now to being maybe a big-time championship contender player. In that game, when we watched that this week on a side TV, obviously not your big game on my big TV, on a side TV, BYU Texas Tech. What am I going to see?
Can't get enough of the coachless Penn State Nittany Lions
well,
on a 5-game losing streak.
I will be tuned in to see if Indiana can go over 50 points again.
That's right.
That's what I'll be tuned in for.
That's the storyline, yeah.
Because they're so good. This Texas Tech BYU winner, can they make noise when they get to the playoffs? Is Texas Tech that talented if they win this?
Yeah. I think BYU is limited, even though they're great. You know, like, listen, I love BYU, and they're physical, and Kalani Sitake has done a really nice job with them. And Bear Bachmeier has done a heck of a job as a young quarterback. I do think that they're limited, though, just at the top end. Somebody is going to corral Bachmeier, and then it's like, like, where do we go from there? Whereas Tech has more answers. They've been able to run the football. They've been able to throw the football. I think defensively, people should... I think because it's Texas Tech, people don't believe that they're playing quality defense, but they are. Yeah. That's one of the better defenses in the country. And in this matchup specifically, they've got a guy that I think is perfectly suited to play BYU and their quarterback, Bear Bachmeier, and that's Jacob Rodriguez. Jacob Rodriguez is likely going to be in the Buckus Award finalist list. He's an excellent player. All-American caliber player at the linebacker position. They've got two ends that are very good, David Bailey and Romello Height. And, that's a good defense. Sheil Wood is their coordinator. He came from Houston this last year, and if you look at his history over the last 4 years, he's done a heck of a job wherever he's been. He's been at Troy and Houston, now at Texas Tech, different places. Really, really good coach. And so that's a team that has the ability to go to the playoff and win a game or two because they've got answers. Whereas I think BYU, as great as the story is, they are maximizing their roster currently. And I don't know how much more they have over top of that. And once you get to the playoff, when you face a team that can be physical with you or be faster and more athletic with you, where do you go? What's the answer? And that's where I think BYU would struggle in the playoff.
You gave one of the most amazing stats I have ever heard in your telecast on Saturday. And I thought your stat guy had messed you up, but you said it so confidently. I think your stat guy didn't even give it to you. I think it was all you. Boys, and this is where Dunaway was like, Brown, I said this on the show last week. If he did, I missed it. We are in the third quarter of the first game played in the month of November for Ohio State. And Klatt tells me after a pass interference that was the first time all season long a team had gotten a pass interference called on them against Ohio State. I'll say that again. We are in the third quarter of the first game in November.
That can't be correct.
The first game in November, and nobody had been called for pass interference.
It's absolutely correct.
That is insane.
It's just wild.
It's no way.
It's just wild.
How? Are they not close enough to the receivers? I mean, how do you not get pass interference?
That's a good one. Two things. Number one is Ohio State doesn't just launch the ball down the field, and so when they take they're very calculated with their shots. So it's not like there's a ton of opportunity. And then two is I think officiating in college football is horrendous this year, and specifically the pass interference call. And I don't think they know how to officiate it. I think that it's a total crapshoot, and typically what I see, because they're so poor at officiating the call goes toward the smaller player. So if you're just a more physical player, it doesn't matter where the restriction is happening or what contact or who's initiating. It's the player that the contact affects the most, which ends up being the smaller player. Well, Ohio State's wide receivers are big players. They fight through contact. So even though there's contact being made, it doesn't seem like it restricts them as much as others. That would be my only plausible explanation.
The most controversial PI was probably in Clemson this weekend. Dabo let us know about it, although he didn't want to talk about it. I got to bring up, I disagree with James Franklin getting fired. I disagree with Brian Kelly getting fired. I don't think Dabo should go anywhere.
Wait, with the timing or just overall?
Just overall. I mean, I still like it to me. Yeah, I mean, Franklin was in the semis last year. I can't explain what's going on this year. Brian Kelly won 10 games both the first 2 years. Anyway, with all that said, I don't think Dabo should be able to leave when he wants to leave. But, and I know we've probably asked you this before, how can you explain what is going on, though, with Clemson right now at 3-5? This is going into a season. There were a lot of people who believed they were going to win it all. I think you might have had them winning it all.
I did.
Yeah.
They gave Texas everything they could handle last year in the playoff. And then they brought, 16 starters back, including their quarterback? Yeah. That was like a no-brainer in the offseason. I was like, well, they're going to be really good, obviously.
You know what we said? We said gun to head, if you had to pick one team to make the college football playoff, one team to win their conference, we all easy Clemson.
Yeah.
To just be the playoffs,
I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on. Their offensive line played really poorly. I mean, that's number one. Their quarterback played poorly. I wish that I could cover them so I could really study their film. You know, these teams that I cover, just so you guys know, like the teams that I'm going to cover on a week in and week out basis, I've watched every single snap Ohio State has played, and Indiana has played, and Penn State has played, and Michigan has played, and Oregon has played. And then what I try to do is as best I can spot all the other films. So I watched Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Florida, these other games, but I can't get to everything. Well, once Clemson lost, I kind of stopped getting to their film. So I don't have a great schematic answer for you. All I can tell you is that in this day and age, and every coach has told me this, is that it's harder now, more so than ever before, to maintain a team-first mentality in the locker room. And every single guy tells me about the razor's edge that is the locker room every single day, not week to week, every day, about selfishness, who's bought in, who's not bought in. And that looks like a team that lost buy-in from afar. Okay, I haven't covered them. I don't know in that locker room, but from what I've been talking about with coaches around the country and their concern about their locker rooms and the buy-in and the culture of their locker rooms, it sure seems like Dabo lost that locker room early, lost the culture of that locker room early, and because of that, they're sitting here and they're 3-5, which makes no sense, 0 sense. They are more talented than a bunch of these teams that they're playing, and they can't win the football game. And then the last thing that I would just say is just from a coaching perspective, I think he's missed on coordinators ever since Tony and Brent left. And this is where I wish I could have watched the film. What you see on film, you're either coaching or allowing. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, if it's not working, then at some point it comes down to coaching.
LSU, Alabama this week, both off of a bye. It's a rivalry game. LSU with an interim coach and a new play caller. How do you prepare? Just in a big sense here, if you're Kane Womack and the Alabama defense for a team that you don't know how they're going to call plays. They've got talent. It's going to be different, I guess.
I would not want to be in this position if I was Kane. This is not a great position to face a team that has talent, that has nothing to lose now, that can kind of go and empty the kitchen sink. I think that you try to go and you try to gain some. Well, here's the thing. In the middle of the year, you're not going to get a drastic change offensively. So you start there. And then you start to think to yourself, okay, what are the things that they will almost certainly try to break from a tendency perspective? What are the things that did not work for them? And then you've got to prepare very well for them to break those tendencies or to try to correct those mistakes of what's been happening so far on the field. And then you've got to be prepared for everything. So when I talk about the soundness of the structure of the Alabama defense, I think Kane would take less chances in this game. He would try to maintain more levels of defense, less what I would say aggressive structure or less levels of defense. When you blitz and when you manipulate the defense, there's less levels. And I would try to retain those, in particular in support structures, because you just don't know what's going to happen as far as trick plays, aggressive play calling, things of that nature. And then the last thing that I would do is you can get yourself all bound up into like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? And you can actually freeze your players. It's called paralysis by analysis. You guys have heard that, obviously. And so the last thing that I would do is I would emphasize all week, block tackle. Get off blocks, tackle well. Get off blocks, tackle well. Because the bottom line is when it comes to defense, and I think Alabama is good enough from a skill position on defense and talent-wise to do this, which is line up correctly, be fundamentally sound, run to the football, and tackle well. And if they do those things, they should win. And when they don't do those things, they can get themselves in trouble. But when there's any indecision about what you're about to see, emphasizing those foundational things, I think, are really vital and important.
Joel Klatt,
they were over-prepared for the Florida State game. They were worried about Gus Malzahn and all the things he could do, and they seemed like they were on their heels the whole game. That's what you're talking about, right?
I mean, I guess. They just didn't. They played so bad.
We'll never explain that.
They played so bad in that game. But also, let's go back to my last point. Did they tackle well in space?
No,
exactly. So that makes up for so many different things from a schematic standpoint. And you might be right. I think that they could have probably gotten themselves into a point where they were playing slow because they were thinking too much. But you have got to tackle in space. If your bigs play well and your littles tackle on defense, you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. And that's what they're going to need, obviously, this week. And then in that Florida State game, the offensive line played so bad. That's because when Alabama wins against almost everybody in the country if their O-line protects and their defense tackles in space. I really believe it's that easy for them.
Joel Klatt's on the Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys Hotline. You mentioned this as one of the games you'll watch film on. Have you watched Oklahoma, Tennessee yet or no? Have you gotten it? Okay.
Yep, I did.
And this may be difficult to pick up on film to answer this question thoroughly, but Tennessee stopped nobody. They haven't stopped anybody all year. And here's Mateer, 19 of 29, 159 and a pick. Do you think it is still the thumb, or are teams catching up to Ben Arbuckle?
OU's offense is really bad.
Okay, that's the answer.
Outside of Mateer.
Yeah.
It just is. And OU fans are after me because I keep saying, like, hey, they're not running it well. And they're like, we had a 100-yard back. It's like, hey, you guys didn't do anything. And the fact of the matter is that game was there for Tennessee to win and to dominate. They were dominating the early stretches of that game. Dominating. In fact, at halftime, I believe it was like it's like 255 yards to 99.
Yep.
Like, it's not even close. And yet they're down 16-10. And why? Because Tennessee refuses to play complementary football. See, like, OU's offense is not very good. Unless John Mateer scrambles around and gets you a first down, they're not going to move the football. And they weren't doing it against Tennessee, and Tennessee's defense is not very good at all. But why is Tennessee's defense not very good? Well, because they're exposed. Why are they exposed? Because their offense doesn't protect them. Their offense continues to go on this high-tempo pace, and they're moving the ball up and down the field in the first two quarters. And yet, then they make a mistake. And their offensive tackle, he whiffs on a defensive end. It's a strip sack, and all of a sudden OU is tied in the football game, even though their offense hasn't done anything. And then everything that was working for Tennessee early in the game, namely inside breaking routes, deep ends, intermediate routes over the middle of the field, all of a sudden vanish. And I'm like, what is going on? And then it dawns on me. I'm like, well, this is the offense. It's deep choice offense, which means that the wide receivers have a choice of where they're going to go. So all of a sudden, they start throwing all these go balls and fade balls, and I'm like, well, these suck. What are they doing? Why aren't they attacking the structure of the defense like they did in the first quarter? The play caller can't do that because everything's a choice route from the wide receiver, so you're leaving it up to the 18 to 22-year-olds. Their run game is non-existent. It's a token handoff here or there, and they run so many plays that they don't protect the defense. Guys, how about this for a stat? You thought that stat about Ohio State and the PI was crazy. if you look at Ohio State's defense, they are protected by their offense. Ohio State could score 60 points if they wanted to. Everybody knows it. That's probably the best passing game in the country when they want to do it. But they don't. Why? Because right now their defense is only seeing 57 snaps per game. Meanwhile, Tennessee's defense is seeing 73 snaps per game. Wow. Average that out over a 12-game period. Guess what it is? 195 more snaps that Tennessee's defense is going to see versus Ohio State's defense.
Jeez.
Will you tell me which defense is going to be better?
Yeah.
Why? Because they run an old Big 12 Art Briles style of offense that doesn't compete at the top level. It doesn't win championships. It doesn't beat quality opponents. And OU should have been thoroughly dominated. That game at halftime should have been 20-3, but Tennessee refuses to allow their team to work as a complementary unit. They just want to go score 50 points and, by God, everything else be damned, and you get beat because of it.
You know, as a kid growing up, I always wanted to see these monumental sports records broken. 61 for Roger Maris. I never thought I would see it. Not to the degree, but something we haven't brought up on this show, Tom Dempsey with the club foot kicking the 63-yarder. I didn't know if we would ever see that. It's a different era of kickers. But Cam Little makes a 68-yarder yesterday, which was insane. But I wanted to ask you, a guy that played in a ton of altitude games, you even went through the circus, which was Katie Knight. I know she wasn't involved in this.
But I wasn't there when she was. Listen, I want to be very clear about that.
No circus.
What a mess. What was the longest kick you ever saw, like in those altitude games?
So I played with Mason Crosby. He was my kicker, and then obviously was a kicker for the Packers for years. And if we had to have it, all I needed to do was get the ball to the 50-yard line, which was a 68-yard kick. So in practice, I saw him make 69, 70, 72, 73. He had an absolute cannon for a leg. So there was a game, actually, I think it was Colorado State, I want to say, and we're on like the minus 35-yard line. There's like 35 seconds left. And in my mind, I'm like, hey, we're one completion away from winning this thing. And then we're on the minus 35. And literally, I threw a slant pass, and one of our receivers catches the slant, and he gets up to about the plus 45. And I was like, well, no more chances there. No more sacks, no more chances. It's in the bag. And sure enough, Mason hit like a 54-yard field goal. We ran it a couple of times, and he hit a 54. And it was like over the net, So, yeah, I mean, I've seen some craziness, but 68 in an NFL game is wild.
Yeah, watching him line up, man, it didn't even seem real.
Yeah, I know. And they are talking about they have reformulated the kicking ball rule. Mm-hmm. Like these footballs that they're using now are much more broken in than they have been over the last few years. So they allow the guys to actually work these footballs and break them in versus just like straight out of the cellophane, which has been what's been happening in the last 4 or 5 years. And that's a huge difference. You ask any kicker and they're like, oh, I mean, that's 10, 12 yards just if you can break the football in.
That's wild. All right, Penn State is playing host to Indiana.
I know we're late. But guys, was that not the best baseball game ever?
Phenomenal.
Incredible.
Oh, my gosh.
First time it's been mentioned on the show today because we've talked a lot of football.
Hey, you got to take a lead off third base, man. Got to take a lead.
Oh,
He's standing on the base. He's standing on the base.
How about that?
Well, I didn't know.
It's just little things. By the way, you know what the Dodgers are? They're like Georgia. It's like you can't just expect that they're going to lay down, and you're going to win the game. And this is, that was incredible.
Yeah,
that was as good. That was as good of a baseball game as I can ever remember watching. It was amazing.
It was just inches, everything.
Yeah,
I mean, the catch by Pius in the outfield. I mean, the game was over at that point.
I didn't play at your level, but at third base, I mean, when he's approaching the plate, you're walking a little bit, and then you're not risking the biscuit getting down the line or anything, but you're walking and getting ready to run on the pitch. And
of course,
he's one step off the bag, and it's
because it's okay. So the technical, it's loaded, so it's a contact play.
Yeah,
right. Like you have to go on contact. There's no read. There's no reason to be back at the bag. Muncy is in, so you have at minimum you need to be even or past Muncy because you're going to beat him back to the bag. So the fact that he's behind Muncy is just like, oh my gosh, release him tomorrow. It makes no sense. None
But
whatsoever.
great play from Rojas.
Yeah, it was. Heck of a play.
Oh, dude, how about Miggy Rojas?
Yeah.
I mean, what a 2 days for that guy. Doesn't play in a month, and he's hitting bombs. The pick in Game 6 to double him up, he's like between his legs. This
And the
guy is
Yamamoto,
incredible.
I mean, I remember there was a guy locally, his name was Steve Gaines, pitched at midfield. Dunaway, I don't know if you remember this, but he pitched every inning of like the 1988 high school playoffs, and they ended up winning championship, and I think his arm was gone forever, never played at another level. But Yamamoto, it didn't matter. Like, that guy, what he did was absolutely insane.
I mean, I couldn't believe when I saw him actually warming up. I was blown away. And then when you hear other big leaguers, and they said, like, we look back and Yamo was warming up, and we were like, what's going on? I mean, that tells you everything that you need to know. But not only that, but then he was effective.
Yeah.
It's one thing to go out there and pitch. Like, you can do that on just sheer guts, I guess. But then to be effective and get the movement and have the command, that's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. It was an incredible series. I mean, I feel sorry for the Blue Jays, but again, like, they had their chances. They had so many chances, and they couldn't get it done. It's like Georgia, facing a 4th and 1, and Florida just decides to run fullback dive. What?
Hey, I was sweating though.
What are we doing?
I thought Kershaw was going to get in this game.
Oh God, thank God he didn't.
Oh, thank goodness he didn't. Can you imagine if the last thing was you couldn't put him in, right?
No,
I mean,
no.
Dave Roberts couldn't put him in, right?
He was warming up.
Indiana at Penn State is the Fox Big Noon Kick, 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock.
That's right.
That's it. That's
right.
the one right
Just-
there. Penn State, one of these days, they're going to win a game here.
Yeah. Not a whiteout. It's not a whiteout.
It is not a whiteout. No. Probably empty seats, honestly, Jim. Probably the opposite of a whiteout. You'll see Klatt and Gus in the All-American Girl. They'll still do it, man.
Must-win game for Indiana. No, not even a must-win game for Indiana.
Nope, probably still going to
Is there
buy.
any implications on anything
None.
CFP related?
None whatsoever.
No.
BYU Texas Tech, on the other hand. All right.
Oregon Iowa could be an elimination game.
Yes. Almost as if people care about the playoffs, Klatt. Joel Klatt on the Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys Hotline. Have a great week, Klatt. We'll see you next Monday.
Yeah, whatever.
See you. Klatt with us on the Shannara Hotline.
Hey, the show
Love
brought
it.
to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the crew there. Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Hand-cut chicken fingers, the brined overnight chicken, cooked to order, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales is champy'schicken.com. Also, our friends at, let's go Odie's, LT. How about Odie's?
Odie's Tavern, great place to grab lunch or dinner. Rodney Davis cooking up that incredible food for almost 4 decades now. Every Wednesday night, the original location at Crestline will be out there for Odie's Team Trivia. Make sure you join us there. But get in to either location, Edgewood or Crestline. Get in and see Will Haver and that great staff. Birmingham Institution is Odie's staff.
And our friends at Alabama Power. Brownie, take us to break with Alabama Power.
Well, guess what's been on in my house over the weekend?
The electricity?
Well, yes, but also the stupid heat. And listen, man, weather changes here in the state of Alabama, and it's going to have an impact on your bill. You don't want to get surprised by it, right? Well, how about the My Power Usage tool that you get from Alabama Power? Absolutely free. It helps you track how much energy you're using and when. Great way to spot patterns, which helps you avoid surprises. Plus, Alabama Power offers you some easy tips to save. Visit alabamapower.com/mypowerusage to learn how to manage your usage and keep cost in check.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama. No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats are all in one place. NextRound.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know. You might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all your favorite Next Round gear by visiting NextRound.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at NextRound.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from NextRound.store.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations: Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, before we get to our spotlight, let's hit Clarence real quick. He'll be our Coca-Cola caller of the day, brought to you by our great friends at Coke Zero Sugar. Hey, fan work is thirsty work. Clarence, how you doing, man?
Clarence
Okay,
needs more caffeine. Clarence needs more
It's our
caffeine.
phone thing? Yep. Nope. Okay. Before we do the spotlight, give it. Let's just hit the spotlight. You ready for the spotlight?
I'm ready for the
Hit it, man.
spotlight.
Do it.
The College Football Spotlight.
Stock up, stock down. College football stock report.
The Shannara Spotlight presented by our guy Alexander Shannara, trial attorney. Shannara.com, Shannara.com. You do not pay a dime unless they win your case with Alexander Shannara. Now, you know they handle personal injury claims, but they also handle claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. Alexander Shannara, trial attorney, Shannara.com, Shannara.com.
I'll start us off with up and down stock report. Indiana up for me. Everybody always talks about Nick Saban murder ball. I want murder ball. Indiana, their 5th 50 or more point game, 367 rushing yards, forced 5 turnovers. If they get a chance to beat you over the head with a hammer,
he doesn't call it off.
They'll beat you over the head with a hammer.
That guy does not call it off.
Physical team.
They are. No, they're a good football team, but he will not call the dogs off.
I can't. I mean, I wish Ohio State and Indiana were playing this weekend. I don't think it's a gimme game for Ohio State at all.
I don't think it is at all.
Yeah.
You know, somebody asked me over the weekend what the number will be, and I think it'll be inflated because Ohio State has dominated everybody. I think Ohio State's going to be 7, but I'm going to grab me some Indiana with that.
Stock down Miami of Florida, not Miami of Ohio. Miami of Florida. That team, I think, is the most talented team in the ACC, even more than Clemson because of the quarterback. 3-4 in their last 7 ACC games. And as Stuart Mandel writes at The Athletic, Mario Cristobal has secured the label less with more.
He really has. I mean, I used to tell you guys back when he was at Oregon that Cristobal is the guy you want Sunday through Friday running your program. You do not want him on Saturday. That has shown up more at Miami than it showed up at Oregon.
I don't know if you want Carson Beck in your foxhole.
Carson Beck does not like taking the blame for a loss. I will tell you that.
Nope.
I think the quote after the game, I don't want to step on it if Scott gave it to you, but I think the quote after the game was, listen, they just kept calling the same play over and over again. I just ran what was called.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what he said in the postgame, Lance.
Oh, that's exactly what he said.
They just kept calling the same plays over and over again. I just ran what they called.
Yeah.
Next question.
He would not break up with the Cavender twins. It's me. It's not you. It's me.
Oh,
He'd be like, it's all you, right?
It is all you. I know you're one of the better looking girls in the universe, but this is going to be on you. I'm not taking the blame on this one. Me or Lance.
It doesn't matter.
Darian Mintz is my stock up. This guy's playing elite football. He torched Clemson Saturday.
Oh, they should have lost the game.
Not because of him.
Yeah, not his fault.
Not because of him. Dadgum, he threw
for fourth down interference call.
Jim, he threw for 361 yards and 4 touchdowns in Death Valley. Had Dabo chewing out the Clemson defense in the first half. Mintz has played great football. He was really good against Georgia Tech the week before. He can't help it that their defense. Do you know he's got 21 touchdowns and only 2 picks this season?
Yeah.
I mean, Mintz is playing elite level football.
You know who else has got 21 and 2?
Who?
Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford. Mintz is playing elite level football. Always the Rams.
I love how that bothers Dunaway.
Always the
No,
Rams.
it doesn't bother me. It's
Well,
just,
you
it's
shake
just,
your head.
It's just it's a unique thing.
Always the
5-3 Duke. 5-3 Duke.
But again, you're not blaming it on Mintz, though, are you?
No,
They got 21 touchdowns.
Yeah,
2
that's
picks.
more Manny Diaz, I think.
This Oklahoma offense, Klatt's right. That is a broken offense. I think we're past it being Mateer's thumb.
Which was he harder on, the Oklahoma offense or the Tennessee
He
offense?
destroyed Heupel's offense, didn't he?
But I do think Heupel has gotten, Starkville, Tuscaloosa, what we saw Saturday.
And Aguilar's starting to turn the ball over. That's what scared you about him.
I don't know why I've got Clemson colors, but Jeff Lebby is my stock up. They finally win a tight game, and look, that is the most improved team in college football. I know the record doesn't really show it, but they are 5-4 and stock down. I got to go against Bobby Petrino. He's had 4 opportunities. There've been some tight games, but 18 penalties for almost 200 yards. I mean, were you guys watching the end of that game?
I was.
And how
Terrible.
Mississippi State came back and won that game?
Hats off to Blake Shapen for getting back in there, man, and to Macon, Mississippi freshman Kamario Taylor for being ready when your name was called. He was 2 or 3 against Alcorn. He was 1 of 1 against Texas, and he comes in there and leads a couple of touchdown drives.
Oh, yeah, look, and he led them in rushing. Without his rushing yards, they end up going for like 50 yards against that Arkansas defense on the ground, which is crazy.
Why does Jeff Lebby's name not get mentioned, do you think?
I asked that to Luganville today.
What did he say? What did Luke say? I didn't hear his answer on that one.
Trying to remember what he said now.
Well, think about it.
It's improved, the product.
It is so improved. And I know you could say, listen, the SEC has become a one-possession league. That's just about all we get in every single game is a one-possession game. They've been in so many one-possession games, could have easily beaten Texas in overtime. Shouldn't even been to overtime, honestly. Could have easily beaten Tennessee in overtime. I mean, he's stacking up overtime losses. You said they're 5-4. They could easily be 7-2. Yeah. I mean, with just one play in each of those games.
They could be Vandy.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Now,
I guarantee if they're 7-2.
Now, the question is, do they get one of these 3? I don't think they do. I mean, I don't think they're going to get Georgia, at Missouri, and then Ole Miss. Do they get one of the 3? I mean, even if they don't, I didn't think they would win another game this year. I was wrong on that because obviously they won Saturday.
Yeah.
But that's a brutal
I'm
3
telling
games.
you, this Georgia game is a tricky spot for the Bulldogs. Well, the Georgia Bulldogs. That's a tricky spot going over there to Starkville now. They don't get a ton of stops, so I think all of a sudden this Georgia offense that can be pretty pedestrian will look better. But I think State can move it on Georgia's defense. I think it's a tricky spot for the Georgia Bulldogs. And then If State can pull the upset, which I'm not calling, maybe tomorrow the Brown Bandit goes with State. I don't know. He's been pretty cold of late. But if State pulls the upset, then all of a sudden Georgia-Texas is a monumental game for those teams.
Yeah, look, Mike Elko will end up winning SEC Coach of the Year more than likely. But is there a chance that Lebby with one conference win could be your Coach of the Year?
Yeah, if he gets them bowl eligible, 100%. I thought about that 100%
Yeah.
last night when I was doing the show notes.
Well, I mean, he would have to get 2 conference wins, but 2 and 6 in conference, and they'd be 6 and 6 overall.
Well, I think they're 5 and 4, so one more gets them to that 6th win, right?
Yeah, but he'd have 2 conference wins at that point.
They'd be 2 and 6.
Because they've only got conference left, right? They don't have they don't have a layup game
Georgia,
left.
Missouri, and Ole Miss.
It's just bowl eligibility for that program where it started off. Absolutely.
But Elko's going to be the guy, right?
I would think so. Yes, if they close the deal, yeah. But I have no problem voting for Lebby because you got to look past the record a little bit. I mean, this is such.
Do you vote? Or you vote on that, right?
I've never voted.
I can, but I don't. Football Writers Association.
If you did, would
that's
you go?
for the national. That's not for the SEC.
Oh, you don't vote for the SEC.
I don't vote for the SEC.
Yeah, see, I mean, where it gets tricky, like if Vanderbilt gets in at 10-2, like Clark Lee would have to be your guy, right?
Yeah, if
Even if
Vanderbilt's in the
Elko's
playoffs.
undefeated.
If Vanderbilt's in the playoffs, it's hard not to go Clark Lee.
I don't get an SEC, but right now Elko would probably be my national Coach of the Year right now.
Yeah, because Signetti, this is old hat. He did it last year.
That's right. We expect it out of him now.
He got it last year.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
I guess you would probably go Elko. Kalani Sitake's got to be in the mix.
I guess they would burn my sheet if I sent DeBoer in, but they've done a heck of a coaching job since that Florida State game.
Different team.
If Tony Elliott wins the ACC,
that Texas Tech guys.
Yeah, but that's all paid for.
Yeah, like nobody else's is.
Yeah, really.
Just like I'm not
Nobody buys a roster
my
anymore.
Bobby Cox. I'm not going to give McGuire any credit at all.
McGuire, that was an impressive win. K-State's a tough place to play. They got up on them early.
Yeah, but I did think the most impressive win, and we called it, was Saturday night in Salt Lake City. I mean, Utah.
Beat down.
That was, I mean, they destroyed
Over
Cincinnati.
early.
Yeah. Brendan Sorsby, 11 of 33.
That ain't good, Jim. That's the Rice Eccles at night. That is an incredibly difficult place to play.
Yeah. You had game day there. You had some people pick Cincinnati to win the game outright.
That'd be me.
It was Sanford Steve, and I think McAfee did it.
I didn't understand that, but
in front of the fans.
But Texas Tech, the fourth quarter got away from them. But outside of that, you got a 3-point loss to BYU, and Utah, BYU, and Texas Tech are all really good teams.
Yeah,
any of those three would walk in the ACC.
The problem for Utah is they got 2 conference losses. I mean, they can do all of this, and you got to be in that Big 12 championship game to be in the playoffs.
Our final thoughts today, brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. They're there for your health, and not just for the men, too. They'll take care of the ladies, the women in your life, too. But for the guys out there, prostate health to kidney stones, they've got everything you need there for early detection that'll save your life. Prostate health, Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, the month of November here. So get checked out, guys. 16 locations. Find the one nearest you, 205-930-0920 or urologycentersalabama.com. For over 70 years, UCA has provided state-of-the-art patient-centered urological care with integrity and compassion. That's why we use urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com. Here's cut 2. Hugh Freeze, right after the 10-3 loss where he had been booed by the students and others, chanting "Fire Hugh" on the way to the locker room, he had this to say in his postgame and then was turned around and fired about 12 hours later.
For the fans here that want to change a leadership with this program, what is your direct response to them in this moment of frustration?
Well, I wish I could ask for patience, but that's not really something that's that people want to give in this day and time, and I understand that. I just know that we're so dang close, and if we had a few things go our way earlier in the year, I think we're looking at a whole different deal. But it didn't, and that's life. And that's the game of football, and it teaches us a lot of great things and a lot of tough things. And, we'll get up and go to work and get ready for the next one. And I know these kids will. It's hard. It stinks. And, I'd love for their patience. But I understand that you're probably not getting patience from them because they want to see a better product on the field, and so do I. So I understand it.
Yeah, that was maybe the most tone-deaf answer in the history of Hugh Freeze.
Well, I mean, he said it at the end. I understand it. I'm not. They want to see a better product. I do too. I understand it. He understands it.
Wait, but you say twice in that answer, I wish I could ask for patience. My God, how much patience should Auburn give you? They've given you patience.
Well, he's saying, I wish I could ask for patience, but I know I can't anymore. I think.
Oh, I don't think that's what he was saying at all.
Yeah, I wish I could ask for patience.
No, I think he was
saying.
But
I've done that already.
Came off more like the fan base isn't being patient.
That's what I heard.
Well, he did throw that in there, but I wish I could ask for patience. But I know I've done that already.
To me, I didn't hear it that way. When I know I've done that already because he doesn't say that. To me, it sounds like Hugh Freeze is saying, "Man, I wish everybody be patient, but I know that's not how this world works." My gosh, they've given you the better part of 3 years. They let you go to the portal and get the what?
No, it is. It does sound weird though that we gave him a better part of 3 years. We gave Harsin a better part of two years.
But I mean, in this world, how quick you can turn a program around? They're not close. He keeps saying they're close. Close to what? What is Auburn close? They're close to the bottom of the SEC. Only Arkansas is worse.
I hated the Harsin hire. I love this hire, and I still will never understand this because. Fact of the matter, in the 12 years before he took this job, from Lambeth to Arkansas State to Ole Miss to Liberty, he had one losing season. 3 consecutive losing seasons with these resources, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you keep saying you're close. I just watched you play a game where you're playing the worst team, one of the worst teams in the SEC.
And your offense didn't score.
You aren't going to score if an interception doesn't return it to the point that you can't screw it up. That's the only way they scored in that game. What are you close to? You're awful at quarterback. You went out and got a quarterback that was 16th in the conference in passing last year. He is 16th in the conference again, so you didn't improve him one bit. Your backup that you went out and got for depth is worse than he is. So what are you close to? I just don't understand what Hugh Freeze keeps saying they're close to. They're not close to anything. That's not close to being a good team.
Think he'll ever coach again?
No.
Oh, I don't think so, no.
No. I mean, why would you hire him as an offensive coordinator after what you just saw at Auburn? How could you sell that? That's like hiring Mike Shula. That's like Shane Beamer hiring Mike Shula as an offensive coordinator.
Did get a job.
Oh, well, that's true. That's a good point.
It's $406,105 a month until January 31, 2029. And then how old will he be on February 1st, 2029?
2029, so 61, 62?
So 61, 62, and between now and then I can throw in, almost $3 million into savings.
You know how much golf you could play on that?
Oh, he's going to play a lot of golf.
Oh, buddy, if his handicap is not mid-single digits by this time next year, he ain't trying hard enough.
Do you guys believe any of the message he sent out was AI created?
I didn't even read it. Was it that bad?
I didn't see it.
Oh, everyone is saying, I can't believe what's on the internet, but everyone's saying that
Chat
AI
GPT.
detector was 83% AI generated.
So he went to Chat GPT and said, write me a thank you note to Auburn fans.
Is he calling his plays with Chat GPT?
No, that'd be better.
That'd be 83% success rate at that point, right?
So there's no way he is.
Yeah. I would tell you that there's only so many words you can put into releases. They all sound the same, don't they?
Pretty much do, yeah.
So I can understand why it would look like Chat GPT. All right, Brock Heward and Lance will talk other stuff and I guess some Hugh Freeze and some other stuff coming up unlocked here in just a second. Champy's Chicken brought you this final hour of the show. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew open for lunch right now. Dinner tonight. Tailgating this weekend. Always you can watch football as we continue with more games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Champy's Chicken, hand-cut chicken fingers, and so much more. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America.